Welcome back, True Seeker. It is Sunday, May 12th, 2024. This video will serve as the Sunday show. When I get done talking, we'll open up the call board. We should have a call board today, and it'll be first come, first serve. I'll put up that number in a bit. But this video is titled Authority, Belief, and the Destruction of Humanity. Flat Earth, Religion, and Donald Trump. And I was thinking about how once upon a time on a Sunday like today, by the way, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers of the world. Surely my mom would have had myself and my sister in church. And again, my sister was always a bit older than me. She's about 12 years older than I am. She's born in 71. I'm born in 83. But every Sunday we were in church. Sometimes in other days of the week we'd be in the church, but always on Sunday. And, Sunday always started off with Sunday school and then a Sunday service. And I just remember from the youngest age, I always had a lot of questions. My teachers, even in grade school, Sunday school, they'd always say, he asks a lot of questions. And I just remember I just had so many questions about religion that just a lot of people couldn't answer. And seemingly they didn't care if they didn't have an answer. It didn't really matter. They were still going to believe in the religion that they believed in, the same one I was coming up in. A lot of questions just didn't need to be answered. And of course, I told the story that when I got older, I got kicked out of confirmation class for asking too many questions. They found it disruptive to the rest of the students in the confirmation class. Just my questions and consistency and not letting up on certain things that I wanted an explanation for. It got to be too much, so they just removed me from the group. And I still remember the day that my fellow peers in confirmation, that they got to do their little confirmation graduation, if you will, and go in front of the congregation and say something, get a nice little blessing from the pastor. I was invited to speak that day, even though I wasn't with the group, just so I guess I could fit in. And I decided I'd go speak, and I explained my story of how I got kicked out of confirmation and the things I wanted answered and why I really didn't believe in religion anymore. And I just remember looking out at all the adults, in the pews, and, just all over the church. And I just remember just all the shocked faces looking back at me. They're like, what is wrong with this kid? Why does he not believe? What's with all of his questions? But just one of those interesting moments in life. And, I was 12 or 13 years old at the time. But from there, just, life, it just, you start, if you're an observant person, you'll, even as a child, you'll be like, why aren't other people asking these questions? Why are so many people going along with this? And then you get a little bit older, and then you're expected to get invested in adult things in the world, like politics and voting. That's for the adults once you turn 18. And I remember I was 17 years old, couldn't vote in 2000. I was a senior in high school. I turned 18 after I graduated. My birthday is July 21st. So we graduated that year in May something. I turned 18 a month and a half later. But the election at the that was 2001 that I graduated from high school. 2000 election where Gore beat Bush, but then, oh, wait a minute. Actually, hold on. There's something going on in Florida where Bush's brother's the governor. And actually, it looks like Bush won after a month of the media telling us that it was going to come down to that state. But I just remember back then arguing with my current events teacher in high school about how rigged the whole thing seemed. And he said I was an idiot. He said, Hubbard, you're an idiot. And I thought that was funny. I like that teacher. I wasn't mad at him, but I just thought, really, I'm the idiot for questioning this. This looks like a joke. I mean, I was calling him King George II as a 17-year-old. I said, this doesn't look like he was elected. It looks like his dad was the last president. He's in a state where his brother's the governor. I said, it looks like a family's ruling over the nation. Lo and behold, Bill Clinton went to Yale, the same place these two went to. They were part of that special secret society, Skull and Bones, where in 2004, when Bush won re-election, unlike his father, he ran against Skull and Bones member John Kerry, and Tim Russert asked them both on Meet the Press, what is it about 322 Skull and Bones? What are the odds that both of you guys are in this secret, powerful fraternity? But yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is you look at all of the signs that are out there to a questioning person about the legitimacy of our system. If more people were asking questions and looking into things, I think you'd have a lot less people invested in politics as a whole in this country. They'd see it's a corrupt, sold out thing that needs to be overthrown, like Thomas Jefferson said. Again, Thomas Jefferson said there must be a revolution every 19 years. We're way overdue. But again, just those things aside, just even the political parties, how they always come into office and they have all these campaign pledges and read my lips, no new taxes. And the next thing you know, there's a bunch of new taxes, or it's Ronald Reagan who says the only thing to fear is the government. And he wants government so small he can drown it in the bathtub. But then he makes government, the federal government, way, 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 way bigger than it had ever been before. And not to mention, I mean, he's a Hollywood actor. And again, I don't know how people can go. I just wasn't wired this way the way I was born. I don't know how people can go through life with all of the obvious inconsistencies and things that don't add up and unanswered questions and and just march along. And with that train of thought, it is kind of that train of thought to people who question things and see things that are wrong. That since 2015, they've been sucked into this movement online that is also a religion, and it's totally based in belief as well. But this flat Earth thing, and again, I just kind of want to talk about the greater parallel that I just see in the people of Earth who all have egos and seemingly are immovable objects when they've adopted a position, whether it be a religion they believe in, a political party they believe in, a shape of the earth they believe in. It's just so amazing how ego and belief in a person will keep them from, I would say, finding the truth. And at the same time, keep them submitting to lies and authority and tyranny. And again, with regards to flat Earth, I got to bring it up because somebody called me up last night and they said, "Hey Zach, Bro Sanchez TV is really looking for people to come on and debate flat Earth." And he said, "I know you did a long time ago with him." He said, "Will you please do it again?" He's having trouble finding anyone to give him a good debate. And so the mistake was that I called into this debate last night. And funny enough, as soon as I got on there, like a whole bunch of people came in, and then there was just a boatload of people. And I mean, I'm embarrassed to say that I like joined this thing around 10 p.m. and I was on until like 2 in the morning. But I didn't speak that much in the time I was there because it was this large panel, and I just wanted to see if any of these people would respond to any of the rational statements I've made, which I've always made about the flat Earth psychological operation, which is what it is. And it was nothing new. It was just everything I've seen since 2015. But again, I just want to go over these points one more time because people are not using their own faculties. They're not using critical thinking. They're not using logic. They're not using reason when it really comes to anything in this world. They're just sticking with their beliefs. And I'm already a part of this group. And I like this group. And nothing's moving me from my place. It doesn't matter how much evidence you're shown. And of course, Carl Sagan has that great quote. And I think it's one of the most important quotes because it says so much about humanity. I remember when I first came across it, I was like, exactly. I was already understanding this phenomenon before I read the Carl Sagan quote. But the Carl Sagan quote is, you cannot convince a believer of anything because their beliefs are not based in evidence, meaning they don't care about evidence. They've already adopted a position. And to make a point, when I first got on this debate last night, when I first got to speak, again, I always think it's because this thing that's circling on the screen, this flat Earth model. The flat Earthers think they've solved the world with this sun that makes light in like a hot dog pattern, but not a hamburger. Anyway, as they always show this thing, I asked him because they had that up on the screen when I was getting on there, and I said, okay. I said, imagine that this is the true model, that you guys are right, that the earth is flat and the sun and the moon, these spherical objects, are somehow orbiting above the flat earth with God knows what force, because as the flat earth communities determined, there's only up and down and left and right, and there's no such thing as gravity. But I said, okay, let's just assume all of this is true. Imagine the moon on your map and how it would be viewed from Earth. You guys, here, maybe I need to make this thing bigger. Let's make it bigger real quick to help with this. So we got obviously the yellow thing with the light around it's the sun, and then the white thing in the darkness is the moon. This is the flat Earth model, which just in itself, I mean, that's not how it works. But again, just the logical thing that you think everybody would be able to go, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, that doesn't make sense. We need to change the model. But I'm going to tell you what happened. So I said, imagine the moon. I said, if this is the way the moon went around the Earth, there'd be no dark side of the moon. Depending on where you were on Earth, you would see different faces of the moon if this is how it was. I mean, can I just pause this thing for a second? Is there a way to pause this thing? Here, let's pause it here. Okay. Whoops. Okay, let's just pause it right there. Okay. If this is the way the moon orbits the Earth, and right now you can see that the United States, Mexico, Canada's in daytime on the flat Earth map. So you're looking out. Well, I don't know. I guess. Even, again, there's just so many things that are confusing, right? It's like, well, wait a minute. So from America, you'd be like experiencing. Okay, but anyway, let's just stick with the point I made to him. I said, okay, imagine if you're looking at the moon and it's in that position from the United States, you're seeing an angle of the moon this way. But say you're in Australia, you're in a different position, you're seeing a totally different side of the moon. And in South America right now, you're also seeing a different face of the moon. But we know this isn't how it is on Earth. No matter where you are on Earth, no matter where you are, you always observe the same face of the moon. We don't see different sides of it. And we never see what we refer to as the dark side because it's facing away from the Earth. Again, the moon is locked in orbit with the Earth. That's the scientific explanation for why we only see the one side. So I was trying to explain this to him, and I was like, imagine it as it swung by overhead, now they're seeing a totally different face from South America. Before they were seeing one side of it, now they're seeing the dark side of the moon. So one of the guys on there, he took a stab at it first. He goes, no, you just have to imagine being on the ground on the flat Earth. It would all be the exact same. You'd only see the face, which left me kind of puzzled. It's like, how can he not see the point I'm making? I mean, if the moon's you're going to see all angles of the moon as it passes by over time. That's not how it is on Earth. So, Bro Sanchez, it was on his channel. He cut him off and he said, no, Zach's right. Zach's right. He said, you have to understand what we believe, though, in the flat Earth to explain why we only see this one phase. He said, it's because the moon is a hologram. So I started to respond and say, well, if it's a hologram, then who's creating the hologram and maintaining it? But then he supposedly had a moderator. So his moderator muted me and said, no one's allowed to talk when Bro Sanchez is talking. But it's like, we're debating the point. If you're going to come out and say that the moon's a hologram and somehow it makes it so we always see the same face from no matter where we're looking in Earth, like we live in a big Truman Show, then that needs to be explained. Who is in control of that hologram? How is that being maintained? Where is the proof that that's true? So the next thing when I got to speak, I just wanted to stay on similar topics. I asked him, I said, okay, you said the moon is a hologram. I said, have you ever seen the moon through a telescope? Because a lot of us have. I mean, I remember just growing up in school, there'd be nights in the summer, astronomy night. You go out and look through the fancy telescope that the school had and see some rare phenomenon that was happening. I did that a few times in my life. I got to see the moon through the scope. I mean, the moon really does look like a massive rock through a telescope. You can totally see that it's spherical. All of this stuff is verifiable with human technology that exists in our own observation. I mean, you can see that the moon is solid and spherical. What Bro Sanchez responded back with was, do you own a telescope? And I said, no. He goes, well, I own a telescope. I said, oh, I said, okay. I said, I've used a telescope. I mean, isn't that the main point? But this is what flat earthers always do. Then he went on this rant about how you can't talk about telescopes unless you own telescopes. And then he got a whole bunch of fire emojis in the chat. And it's just kind of like watching, just like the megatard lead a pack of even larger megatards. It's like, don't they see how dumb these arguments are? You just said it was a hologram. I just came back where if you look at it through a telescope, you can see it doesn't seem like a hologram. He made the point that you can see through the moon, that the moon is this thing that you can see the stars behind it. And I made the point that when I looked at it through the telescope, I couldn't see through the moon. I couldn't see what was behind the moon. I could see the moon. It looked like a big sky rock. And but again, I mean, it's always been this way with flat earthers, just like unbelievable responses. What Bro Sanchez then ducked into, and I didn't even know what to say back, is he brought up this article and he said that this article was more proof that the earth was flat. That this article was recently written that climate change is slowing the earth's rotation. And somehow, some way, he explained that that was only possible on a flat earth. And I was like, I don't even know what to say about that headline. That's not where I want to take the debate. I said, I don't see how that headline has anything to do with the shape of the earth. But again, it's amazing. It's amazing. The stuff that people can believe. And it's also amazing that people can get other people to believe and fall for it too. But yeah, eventually I got to the point of, okay, we know that on this earth that we live on, as we approach the summer solstice, Alaska starts to experience nearly 24-hour days. Then eventually it does become a 24-hour day. And at that time, when that happens, the equator is still experiencing the typical amount of sunlight that it gets. The daylight doesn't really fluctuate that much throughout the year with the equator. It stays almost consistent all year round. And we said we know when Alaska is experiencing the 24-hour sunlight at the other pole, it's almost dark all day. And then eventually, as the winter solstice comes around in the northern hemisphere, Alaska will experience the 24-hour darkness, and you'll have the long days at the south end. I said these things are known on the earth. So how do you explain this on a flat earth model? And you know what the one guy did? He brought up this and he paused it. And he's like, you see how it's all light right now? Just like that. And I was just like, yeah, man, these people are such simpletons. It's like, no, that doesn't explain it because the other hemisphere is now experiencing a different light pattern while it's, and then he's like, well, then explain it how it works on the spherical earth model. I'm like, well, if you look into the model and stuff, that's the thing about flat earthers. They always say you got to research flat earth more. It's like, have you guys spent any time researching spherical earth, or have you just been watching Bro Sanchez and Jeranism and Eric DeBay and retard from Boston and whatever other ex-convict that they let out around 2015 that began promoting the flat earth psyop, from Santos Bonacci to the rest of them, ODD Reality, the rapist. But again, it's just, as I did this last night, I was just like, see, I don't know why the person who called and asked me to do that, it's like, I think I'm just going to block these kind of people's phone numbers because they're just going to be, again, I tried to do it as an experiment because I haven't debated with Bro Sanchez since 2017. And in 2017, what was hilarious, and I called him out on this last night, he's like, here, this happened last night in the debate too. I said, he was trying to bring up stars last night to prove that the earth is flat. And I said, this is funny, Bro Sanchez TV, because the last time I was on your program in 2017, I brought up the stars to you and how you can only see certain stars in the northern hemisphere that you cannot see in the southern hemisphere, and vice versa. You see the North Star in the northern hemisphere. You see the Southern Cross in the southern hemisphere. And back then in 2017, when I brought that up, he refused to debate the stars. He said, we do not need to debate what's above to understand that we're on a flat, motionless plane. And so that wasn't even a loud talking point back then. But now he uses the North Star as proof that the earth is flat. And again, for all the flat earthers who do not understand how the scientific model can be true, that the Milky Way galaxy is moving, which means the Earth, the planets, the sun, the moon, all the stars we see. That's the Milky Way galaxy. Again, the scientific theory parallels Genesis, right? God speaks the world into existence in Genesis, seemingly out of nowhere. The Big Bang is like everything came out of nowhere. It was all set in motion with an explosion. And I think, again, our true origins, I think that's just something humanity is not meant to ever fully understand. Um, if there's something that'll probably always have a realm of belief, it will probably always be where we came from, because I don't know if that can ever be proven. Um, but again, the scientific understanding is the Big Bang set this spark in motion that created this force that eventually, over a very long period of time, resulted in the world as we know it, life, all that is here. And again, the idea is the Milky Way galaxy is one of these things that was spawned and catapulted through space. So it's always moving together. And the idea is, again, the orientation of the Earth, it points, our orientation, the way we're aligned, points towards this star that we identify as the North Star. And again, imagine if the stars above are a merry-go-round and they're just going around in a circle. Imagine how imagine this. You know how a merry-go-round, there's like, how many different sections? There's at least 8 different sections on the merry-go-round. Imagine on the very outskirts of the merry-go-round, you put a big like circle sticker on 8 different positions around the merry-go-round, and you made each one a different color. As it spun around, you'd see the circular colors rotating around the outside, always moving. But the middle of the merry-go-round, it's going to seem like it's just staying in the exact same spot. It's just staying in the exact same spot. So we're all moving together. We're facing this North Star. The other stars are rotating around it the way we perceive it. This is the idea. For all the people who think, because the stars are always the same in the same position, because you'll see flat earthers saying this all the time. They're like, if Earth's moving this fast, shouldn't we be blowing past all these stars and constantly seeing new stars? And it's kind of annoying that there's always new flat earth content being put out and the same arguments are made. And then you always see these people saying research flat earth. And it's like, have these people researched anything but flat earth? Because these explanations have been in existence for longer than the flat earth psyop of 2015. And it's like none of these people have ever taken the time to look into them. The one thing I do like about the flat earth community is they are questioning a lot of the bullshit in the world. But just like how one of the guys last night that was on the panel, he kept making the point that they've lied to us about everything, so they must have lied to us about the shape of the earth too. And then he went on a rant about how they lied to us about evolution and all this other stuff in science. I wanted to respond to his thing, but there was just too many people, and then they'd already moved on to like 5 different topics. But again, I wanted to address his point about, yeah, you're right. They did lie about evolution. I mean, anyone can look into Piltdown Man and how it was a forced proof of evolution. So you can look at fraudulent science, and it's fair to call that out. I didn't make the point back to him in that moment, but I was talking to him later, and I made the point about, again, how you have to acknowledge that the heliocentric model in the spherical Earth, this model that NASA promotes, and it's funny how all flat earthers are just caught up on the same things. They act like NASA and what's his name, Tyson DeGrasse, is that it? They act like those two guys are like the only sources of science in the world, and they made all the determination. They're like, you must. It's like, can you guys all stop with all your same blanket false statements and just, it really is like a cult flat earth, because they all repeat the same lines, have the same logical fallacies, seem to not understand the same simple things, but then all come back to the same false arguments. They start accusing you of endorsing NASA. It's like, do you know who I am? I wrote a book exposing NASA's rituals. Again, my explanation of why NASA dupes the masses, to me, makes a lot more sense than they're trying to hide the shape of the earth. They're just trying to legitimize all the money they take from the taxpayers each day. That's what the scam's about. Just like so many of these, I mean, look at all the scams going on in the world right now where all this tax money is getting sent for this supposed reason and this supposed reason. Again, that's been my explanation. Because, yeah, I see the shenanigans with NASA too. You know, I wrote a book documenting the shenanigans of NASA by persistent patterns that have continued to persist multiple times since I wrote that book. Like, I feel like I put out, like, every flat earther, instead of wasting your time with this, you should be looking into my research, which is evidence based, which you can prove. You say, oh, look, they're doing it again. It's the same pattern again. Oh my God, they're doing the same thing again. Um, but yeah, the thing is, the science for this Earth and model seems to not be a fraud, does it? I mean, how can you say it's a fraud? Their model is dead on. They can predict literally every single thing that we're going to see in the planetary bodies and the stars, down to the second, down to the coordinate on Earth, which is based on a spherical model. So you have to think about this. And they've been doing it for a long time, for longer than all of us have been around here. Again, a lot of these things were beginning to be understood around the time of the 16th century, when the heliocentric model was finally agreed to. The Catholic Church could no longer pretend that the earth was flat because this other model was superior. They were saying, this is going to happen here at this time, this is going to happen here at this time. And they observed those things that happened. And they said, you know what? You are winning the debate in a major way. So some people do rely on evidence, and those are intelligent people. You don't see a lot of intelligent people falling into religion and obvious stooge political candidates. You will see some intelligent people, though, fall into politics because they believe in voting for the lesser of two evils, or they know that with this party they're going to pay a little bit less than taxes, unless it becomes like the George H.W. Bush administration. But yeah, again, it's just, for me, it's just so, in the flat earth community, when it came around in 2015, it just cemented already my frustration, because I already been seeing this. I mean, when 9/11 happened, it scientifically did not make sense. Never before had steel frame buildings collapsed from a fire. Yeah. The whole thing about the plane, it didn't make any sense. The one that got hit second came down first. I mean, literally none of it made any sense. And then building 7 hours later in the day, the only 3 steel frame buildings to ever collapse from fire in history, all on 9/11. The first building to ever be hit by a plane and not collapse from a plane fire was also in New York in the time of World War II, the Empire State Building. So again, there's just so many inconsistencies with 9/11, so many things to look into. But I did a lot of research on 9/11 when it first happened, and I was trying to wake up peers and people around me. And credit to my mom on Mother's Day. She was about one of the only people I knew in life that actually saw through 9/11 as well. Sometimes she sees through things. But I just remember at the time, no one believed. That's what everyone said. Our government would never do that to us. There's no way our government would do that. I mean, it was a belief that everybody had, and they were so high on their horse about it, and so many people got so offended about it, that there was no way that our government would do this to our own people. And again, it's a really ignorant point of view. The founders warned about how your government could be hijacked by tyrants. Founders were writing letters back then about the Illuminati, George Washington, the Jesuits if they came out of suppression, Jefferson and Adams, who died on the same day, July 4th, 1826. There were warnings about the things that could happen to this nation, and that's why the founders gave us the right to defend ourselves from enemies, foreign and domestic. So again, just as a person who's always used logic, reason, history, perspective, facts, evidence. See, like I could never sit here and continue. I mean, all of you flat earthers should be able to admit that this model makes 0 sense, because you would be able to see every side of the moon. And if you're going to sit here and start going, well, I don't care that I can't, maybe you're like, no, bro, Sanchez was right, bruh. It's a hologram, bruh. We're not going to answer who's controlling the hologram. We don't have to. Here, hold on. I got a new argument. Do you own a telescope? How about this article right here? Don't you see how this? It's just like, I don't even know what's going on over here. If you cannot answer simple questions about your model, then you know that model's wrong. I mean, this model's inherently wrong. And there's literally people that have bought this app. David Weiss, they say those Jews are clever bastards. They know how to take advantage of the goyim. David Weiss, but David Weiss again. He sold an app like this. I think $10 a pop. He sold a lot of them to flat earthers. I'm guessing he probably made a few million off it. Honestly, how many flat earthers are out there? Huge psyop. But again, he marketed it to find a way to hook up with flat earthers in your community. Made it kind of like a dating thing, but it's constantly showing you where the sun is in the flat earth, even though it doesn't add up with reality. Again, it doesn't matter to the people who've subscribed to the religion. They just want the community. They want to think that they're bucking the system. But really, again, for people who don't get the flat earth psyop, I saw what it was going to do right away. My prediction about it was dead on. I said, just watch. In no time, they're going to be comparing flat earth to people who question uh, government corruption, government scheming, what's really going on with the mass shootings, what really happened on 9/11. I predicted all this in 2015. 2018, remember, 2018, Google announced they were going to do a new round of crackdowns. It was around the time my nephew graduated from high school. So it was around graduation time, 2018. I remember I was like at his graduation that day. I remember the New York Times article popped up, notification, and it's about how Google's going to begin cracking down on 9/11 conspiracy theory, Sandy Hook school shooting questioners, and flat earthers. I was like, look at that, man. Look at that. And isn't it funny in a way how it's all 201 too? How the two towers became zero towers before they became one. Sandy Hook compared to Dune Blaine. The Dune Blaine massacre was first grader as well. Got gun rights taken away in the UK. Sandy Hook happened exactly 201 months later. And then we all know about heliocentrism in 201. And we all know about who runs Jesuit or Google, the Jesuits. Google celebrates their birthday on September 27th, the same day as the Jesuits. Of course, Sundar Pichai, the current CEO, 201, like the Jesuit order. You could go on and on and on. But again, the heliocentric model from the 16th century. And a lot of you guys think that that's proof that it's a forgery and a fraud. The one thing that I do question is, did they lie to us about the distances of things? Did they fudge the numbers in the model? Last night on that debate panel, see that some people's minds just they really are lacking logic and reason, and just cannot compute simple things. But one of the people on the panel last night got on and said he was in a plane and he saw with his own eyes the sun down below him in the clouds. And again, this was a thing that went viral like back in 2016 with the flat earth community. It was one of the most viral videos that everyone was sharing, this person who captured the sun in the clouds from a plane. And my first thought was, I mean, come on, this is a video being put out on the internet. Have any of us ever seen the sun in the clouds? And just imagine, because again, you can edit things online. You guys, so many flat earthers, it's like you're real gullible in that way. You don't trust your own eyes and what you can actually observe about the world, or even look at this and see what's wrong with it. But then you'll go along with what somebody else said in a YouTube video. And then you call that doing real research when, honestly, you're watching a video made by somebody who can hardly formulate a sentence and came out of a No Child Left Behind school where they likely just got pushed through all the. And I understand that schools are indoctrination centers, but also if you don't get any if you don't have any good teachers in your life and you don't have one that really helps you out with critical thinking, some of us get that even in the indoctrination system. We get a good teacher here and there. I had a great one in high school, Mr. Beck, the only black teacher in the whole high school as it happened. And one day he was ranting against affirmative action, how he thought it was BS. And I said, Mr. Beck, I hear everything you're saying, but you might not have a job here if there wasn't affirmative action. You are the only black teacher in the school. And he thought about that. And funny enough, I've told you this story about this teacher before. He actually ended up getting suspended later that semester, and then he was never the same teacher again. I had him in the last semester where anyone ever got Mr. Beck in his raw form, and it was great. He was very controversial, but he got you to think about things. But he got in trouble for bringing in a sorority pledge. We lived in. I'm still in Washington State. I went to high school in Washington State. But he brought in a sorority pledge from Washington State University that was going on at that time. It was brought back to him from a former student who joined the sorority. And he just wanted to read in our class the types of things that were going on at the high school level, just like in a conversation about peer pressure. And, it was actually because the sorority pledge it was just like nasty and freaky. It was like a Lil' Kim rap song, but it was wrong. There was all kinds of things to it. Well, now it'd be like Megan the Stallion. And why is a female rapper called a stallion anyway when that's male horse? But anyway, it was a great discussion. And some student took the pledge home, and the parent got really angry that he would be reading that in class. And he ended up, I forget, he was gone for a while. We had a substitute for like a month. This lady who painted on her eyebrows big time every day. I'd never seen a lady just paint on her whole eyebrows before, but She was a wild one, but yeah, Mr. Beck, when he came back, he's like, from now on, we're just doing everything by the book because I got kids to feed. And yeah, that was a tragedy. But anyway, I was trying to say, I've just noticed for all of my adult life, trying to get people to think about things based on evidence, almost no one wants to do it. They just want to believe whatever they already believe. And a lot of people, I mean, the one thing that's interesting about flat Earth is it did have this huge impact in society because it was everywhere in 2050. I mean, they're still talking about, right? Just the other day, the Kelsey brothers, the NFL Kelsey brothers, the one that played, well, just retired for the Eagles and the other one that plays for the Chiefs. They just had a big mainstream story syndicated by everyone saying that how widespread the flat Earth belief is among NFL football players. And they debated between what percentage of football players are flat earthers, and then they came in with the percentage of around 20%. And we've seen this in other years. Kyrie Irving, back when this thing was newer, was the viral celebrity flat earther. And the next thing you know, they tried to tie him to anti-Semitism for questioning if people his skin color are the true Jews. See, as a black man, you can't even have that question because they just want to control the thought, right? And see, I get that from people, how they see how corrupt the media is and how they've been lied to about a million things. But again, that's where the word discernment comes in. Yes, you can argue that they have lied about evolution. They literally tried to forge the first proof of evolution. And they also did it with a racial context. The first proof of evolution, Piltdown Man, which was debunked after 41 years. By the way, Piltdown equals 41 in Gematria. After 41 years, it became an admitted academic fraud, a contrived thing from multiple skeletons. But it was promoted in high school. It was taught in education, college, and it was also taught that because it was discovered in the UK, the argument that white people evolved in Europe, and they're trying to make the argument that white people are the oldest race and the most superior race and the most intelligent race, and it was because of Piltdown Man. And all of this was a fraud. So when the flat earther last night was making the point that they've lied to us about these other scientific things, which was his reason that the earth is definitely flat, that's just a logical fallacy. Again, you need to acknowledge that same scientific world is giving you the model and the times and the predictions for exactly when eclipses are going to happen at these coordinates at these times. Again, what you can observe, this conjunction of these planets on this date at this time, because it's all on a mathematical scale. And this is what I'm trying to explain. In the 16th century, they synced up the model, heliocentrism, with the calendar, with the language, and it is like a perfectly well-tuned machine. It's mind-blowing. But yeah, if you look at this and you really think this is what the Earth is doing, I mean, there's just besides the position of the moon, I mean, that's one of many problems. On this model, how would you ever have a lunar eclipse? How would the flat Earth ever become between the sun and the moon? And you know what? Actually, I already know how flat earthers respond to this. They say eclipses are not what we're told. It's that there's another planet out there. What's the big conspiracy planet? Nibiru, is that it? Some of the flat earthers think it's Nibiru that comes through every so often that causes these eclipses. It's Nibiru moving in front. But it's like, okay. Okay, Larry, there is a model out there that's showing you how these things are moving, why these things are happening at this time. That same model that says the moon's going to be in this position with the sun that's going to create the eclipse. It's that same model showing you that the moon's going to be in this phase and observable at this time from these coordinates at this degree of illumination. I mean, all of these things fit together, and they all work day after day. For centuries, this has been understood. They first began to calculate the spherical Earth in the time of the Greeks. And again, they credit mathematics to the Greeks, but of course, a lot of the great Greeks studied in Egypt and went down into the southern hemisphere. They say that's a big part of it too, that these Greek greats, when they traveled to Egypt and crossed down into the southern hemisphere, what blew their mind was how they saw different constellations of stars than they could see back home in Europe. And they had to understand how that could possibly be. Last night I was listening to the flat earthers give these wackadoodle, zero common sense explanations of how it could be that you could see a North Star only in the north and a Southern Cross only in the southern hemisphere. It literally makes zero sense. Just like what's going around on the screen over and over. And I'm hoping if flat earthers look at it long enough, it'll finally set in. It's like, yeah, okay, an eclipse couldn't happen. But if you're like, that doesn't matter because it's probably Nibiru that's doing it each time. How do you think that's? See, this is what I explained about flat Earth. It makes for everyone who does not know who Daniel Pratt is, you can look up his name, Daniel Pratt, Pratt. And when I first started this research, he got really invested in what I was doing. He loved it. He was mind blown about the 52 and 49 thing with Black history. He was sharing the work. He was trying to do his own decodes. And then the summer of 2015 came around, and he got sucked right into flat Earth. And then he'd be in my comments, Zach, you got to start promoting this flat Earth thing. This is the ultimate truth. And I was like, man, he has been helpful with some of the gematria decoding and some discoveries. But anyway, his whole channel turned into flat Earth and attacking my channel from ally to foe overnight. And I wasn't even mean about it. I was just like, I don't think the Earth's flat, and I don't want to argue about the shape of the Earth. I want to expose what's going on Earth that needs to be stopped for the sake of all humanity, especially future unborn generations, so they don't. Well, I mean, look at it now. I mean, it's sadly, it's exactly what I predicted. It's just people are getting dumber and dumber and fatter and less healthy. And again, with the agendas coming, plans to phase us out, plans to make it so it's hard to live, plans to make it so that you consume a lot less. I mean, all the logical explanations are there that they'd make life a lot more expensive and challenging. So again, it's 10 years later. All of these things have happened. And again, you still got people in the world too who can't see the simple truths, and they're still caught up in the psyops, and they're still super emotionally invested because their ego's so tied to it. And again, I didn't finish making the point, but I was saying back in 2015, I said what this is doing to a lot of people is it's making them so that they're going to be discredited by the rest of humanity. I mean, if you're at your Thanksgiving table and you bring up that, they're having a conversation about flat Earth, and you interject that the reason eclipses are happening, it's because of Nibiru. I mean, the next question is, okay, where is this Nibiru? Are you tracking its orbit? Can you predict the next time it's going to show up? I mean, what a flat earther would do is they'd look at the eclipse schedule. They'd be like, oh, Nibiru is going to be here at this time and here at this time. It's like, okay, this is a clever way to make your Nibiru prediction model. But where is this Nibiru? When can you see it with a telescope? And then they'll have again, flat earthers is always coming up with like new fantasy explanations for everything. But yeah, it goes back to the Carl Sagan thing. You cannot convince a believer of anything because their beliefs are not based in evidence. This is evident right here that this is not the model. Yet, millions of people think that's exactly what's going on. Again, so many flat earthers will leave comments like, if the earth is flat, then how come I can see the moon in the daytime? You need to do better research. It's just like, is this supposed to be ironic? I mean, the moon is orbiting the earth. It's trapped, again, with us in this cosmic explanation of what's going on. It's just... Anyway, let me open up the phone line here. Give me 1 minute to open up the phone line. If you need to take a break to use the restroom, let's do that real quick. Let's take a 2-minute break. I'm going to put up the phone line. It's going to be a call board, so it's first come, first serve. You can actually listen to the show through the call board as well. If you do call in, make sure your video is muted in the background so we're not getting the feedback, because you'll be able to hear everything just through the call board. But yeah, let's have a conversation. I think the point I also want to make is, how are we going to change this thing about humanity? Like, how does this change in humanity? Is it through prayer? Do we need to pray that humanity can get above its ego and its belief systems? That'd be kind of ironic. We had to prayer to defeat belief. But yeah, until we get rid of belief, and people operating out of beliefs rather than facts and logic and evidence and research and thought, like the righteous things, until we can get people, from the belief land to where they need to be, where they're actually questioning and thinking and using their God given faculties. God's so opposed to spheres, you think he would have just given us like a flat top, or just like a flat top right off the neck. But yeah, again, I just feel like everything comes back to the same thing again. I know I'm being a broken record, but everyone's just stuck in belief and ego, and there's so little people that care about facts and evidence. So how do we make this conversion in humanity? And I'm going to put up for the person who said, "How do we call in?" I'm going to open up the phone line. I need to take a restroom break too. Normally I have an iron bladder, but I think my coffee finally just went through me. So yeah, let me get up. I'm gonna get up the phone number right now. 2-minute break. In that 2-minute break, I'm gonna get up the phone line and restroom break. But we'll be back here in 2 minutes. So stand by and see you in a few. Okay, we got a call-in line here. I'm going to switch over the audio setting though, because we're going to need to use a different one to pick up the calls clearly. So it'll sound a little bit less clear, but make the callers a lot more audible. For the person, I mean, just you start talking about flat earthers. The flat earth people are really like trollish people, but for the flat earther who came in and said, Zach, you're losing a lot of subscribers, I'd like to make a point about that. Yeah, again, if I was a shill, then I would not speak against the flat earth, because literally every time I speak against flat earth, I do lose subscribers, I lose financial support. Do you know why I continue to speak against the flat earth? Because this is a truth channel and truth matters. And flat earth's always been a psyop to really mislead people and discredit them, and show just how many people that are questioning government are also not very bright. And yeah, I will continue to lose subscribers to go against the flat earth psyop. And again, that should show you that I'm not a shill, because what shills do is they just ride waves and they go where the money is and the audience. And again, that's what all the shills did do with the flat earth psyop. It's a big grift. And again, the people who make money in flat earth, like Bro Sanchez TV, last night in the time I was in his stream, he got about $800 in donations. $800 in donations. There is a lot of money in flat earth. $800 in donations, and the arguments he brought forth were that the earth or the moon is a hologram with no proof. And then when he got questioned about the telescope, he said you can only make arguments about telescopes if you own a telescope. So it's like, wow, these are just like really bad arguments that anyone with a brain would be like, what is this guy serious? But when you got a big pack of religious people that are used to putting money in the plate, it kind of works like that way with the flat earth religion as well. So I've never wanted to steal from the flat earth, money pin or be a part of it. No, I have integrity. This flat earth isn't an integrity movement. Eric Dubay, his 200 flat earth proofs that are all based on false measurements. Literally every measurement in his book is false and deceptive. A total book based on deception. A guy who wears dresses. I mean, so again, if you think people like this aren't shills and I am, that's also the reason you fall for the flat earth psyop. It's just not enough IQ points up here. So again, I'm trying to make a world more like me. Intelligent people. People who don't get taken advantage of by tyrants and bullshit. That's what you're looking at when you watch yours truly speak. Bringing life-changing knowledge based in facts and evidence that build every single day. I could be talking about that right now, just the latest work on my blog. More proof of what I've been talking about forever. You see the guy with the pig kidneys dead? Same exact pattern that I documented with the first pig heart recipient, which goes back to that movie, The Gone Committee, which has those Jesuit fingerprints all over it. Same patterns over and over. Anyway, let's see if we got some callers out here. And we got one caller. So we'll start it off with one. 408.
Hey, Zach. Yeah, not just you were talking about flat Earth, and I remember in 2017, I think it was, I kept seeing articles about flat earthers, and finally I got curious, so I clicked on it, and then I think I watched Eric Dubay's video, and then I was like, okay, these guys don't understand how perspective works, because the sun and moon don't change size throughout the day, and then they'll say oh, but it's because the sun and moon are flat. But I mean, if you look at if you have a quarter or a flat circle on a ceiling, it would look like its shape would change as it gets further away, and that's not what we see happen. So yeah, I don't know, man. These flat earthers, they just deny reality, I guess. That's the simplest way I put it.
I don't want people to interpret this as a racist statement. It is not. Understand you're looking at somebody who purposefully chose to teach in the south end of Seattle, which is all black students. What Bush did, if you look into Bro Sanchez TV, who's a black male, and pretty much all of his audience are black males,
if you look into their audience, this might sound really mean, you guys, but they are the purposeful creation of No Child Left Behind, because they are the communities that were targeted for being dumbed down even further. And this is not a racist statement. This is a factual statement. Black America, just like it was targeted with crack cocaine, was targeted with No Child Left Behind, because they already... Here's all the things they did in the time of No Child Left Behind, you guys. So what happened in black communities in America? They were also the communities that got all of the refugees that started coming in 2008 from the wars in the Middle East, also the war in Burma. And a lot of refugees come in. So you already have these schools, because they're the poorer communities, and that's where these people get shipped to. So you have these schools that are already failing. And they're failing for a lot of reasons. And in No Child Left Behind, when a school is deemed failing, it loses resources. So it loses teachers, it loses assistants. And then eventually these schools will shut down. And then the students who are in the school that shut down, now they get stuck into the school that's still barely hanging on, that's in the threshold of also getting shut down. And then they get even more students in their classroom. They have even more problems, less funding. And again, this is happening to black communities all over the nation in the last 20 some years, in the time of No Child Left Behind. Again, I'm not subscribing to what it says about books where it ranks race by IQ. Again, there's plenty of books you can look out there that have been published that show that black people have the lowest IQs. I do not think that's true. I think that's very biased research and information, and it starts to get formed when you have purposeful agendas that destroy certain communities. But again, you look at Bro Sanchez's community. Again, if you watched me in the debate last night, because I am nicer to black people, I was very polite and courteous and waited the whole time. But they started to get rude and mean at the end, even though that they didn't make a single credible point the whole time. Again, I realize why there are so... And again, there are people that aren't black that are flat earthers, but you look at Bro Sanchez's community, it's huge. He's made a lot of money off it. And it's full of a lot of dumb fucking retarded people. And I'm not trying to make it about race, but I am trying to make it about understanding how purposeful agendas are waged, how a community of people can be made even dumber than they should be, and then how they can end up falling for a purposeful psyop because they literally have no education, logic, reason, grammar, nothing. They don't have any understanding about anything, and almost all of their arguments fall back to nonsensical beliefs and fuck the system. Which is also, I mean, there's a reason that sentiment's there too. So, yeah, again, if people want to get mad about that, you can get mad about that all you want. But what I just laid down is a real agenda. And when you watch the Bro Sanchez channel, you're watching the agenda in real time and why it's dangerous for the world. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Obviously, as you said, there also are people that I know. I'm pretty sure Jaron went to like a Jesuit high school. Even though there are people that went to these so-called better schools and they still somehow subscribe to the flat Earth. I'm not sure how that happened, but
Jaronism doesn't really think the Earth. Jaronism does not really think the Earth is flat. He's made a lot of money off the flat Earth, like a lot of these guys have. That's why they stay in it. They stay making good money. Like I said, I mean, he got $800 in super chats last night, talking nothing but bullshit out of his ass. I mean, think about that, Evan. When I put out videos, aren't they usually pretty good quality information?
Yeah, of course.
How many super chats do you see rolling when you watch an average live stream on average? Maybe $5 or $10?
Yeah, it's not many, but I mean,
but this is the point I'm making. But you watch flat earthers. If they got live streams, they make good money. Flat Earth is a big money operation. And you guys, if you weren't here, I chose to not monetize my work from 2013 until September of 2018, and I did it as a last resort after what happened in my life in that moment. But I never had any ad revenue. I never went for any of the big money things. I just was on here to put out information about how corrupt our government is and how it works by this scheme each day to sell us all out. And then I was also very much annoyed in that time by the Flat Earth psyop and how I saw so many people were drawn to it because it just reminded me that like it's an idiocracy. And I don't know, maybe kind of the Flat Earth psyop, if you have a brain, it kind of makes you think like, is it time to just build a bunker? Is humanity gone? Because it might be.
Yeah, it's also kind of ironic because I actually found out about your channel because I was watching a Jeranism video once, probably like 6 or 7 years ago. Um, that's it's kind of a weird twist, but yeah, I think Flat Earth definitely was promoted, I would say, by the algorithm in like 2016, 2017. Remember when I first came across it, like I watched one Flat Earth video, and then the next thing I knew, all my whole YouTube recommended section was full of Flat Earth videos. And I knew the Earth wasn't flat, but I was curious. I was like, why do these people believe the Earth is flat? And I think also as a result, actually from watching Flat Earth videos, I kind of became more aware of like, oh, so that's how we found out. That's how we found out that like that's why solar eclipses and lunar eclipses happen. That's how we know that the the tilt is, what was it, 23.5 degrees or something like that. So I actually, from watching Flat Earth videos, I actually kind of learned a bit more about how we figured out the Earth isn't flat and how we figured out like what the tilt is and the distances between places and shadow angles and all that. So in a way, it was actually kind of helpful. And as I said, I found your channel because of it. But yeah, I don't know how people today are still subscribing to it.
I don't either. Well, in a way, I do. Again, it's a believer doesn't need evidence. It's all based in belief. And again, you listen to almost every flat earther, it'll boil down to the same things. We've been lied to about everything, so of course the shape of the Earth is a lie.
Right, and apparently there's a flat earther out there right now who's like trying to organize a trip to Antarctica because they want to be able to prove or disprove that there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica in their summer. And some people are already suspecting that it's a scam.
Why not
They're
just fly up
probably-
to Fairbanks? They could just fly up to Fairbanks, Alaska, and do the same thing. I mean, and I've been telling flat earthers to do that since
I think it's
2015.
I think because in their model, the North Pole is like the center, so it would already get that. Because in Antarctica, it's like a giant circle or a giant ice wall, whatever they call it, and the 24-hour sun wouldn't work on their model. Even though you could go to like the southern tip of South America and still get like probably like a 17 or 18-hour day, which would disprove the flat Earth model. But I don't know, they're not about that. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, that was a good flat earth story. So you actually found this channel through Jeranism. Okay, very interesting.
All right, I'll have to go. I'll let some other people get on, but thanks for having me on.
All right. Just so you know, we don't have anybody else on. So if you nobody calls in hardly at all anymore. We got a call in line, you guys. If you want to phone in, the line is open. But if you don't have anything else, Evan, you're happy to hop off, or if you want to make another point.
I guess I'll stay on for a little bit. The other day, Seattle University, a Jesuit school, and obviously you used to live right over there. They announced that they'll be joining the West Coast Conference, which already has other Jesuit schools like Gonzaga and Santa Clara and USF. And that was on May 10th, and May 10th this year is the 131st day of the year. It's a leap year, 131, 32nd prime, 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo. And Elgin Baylor went to Seattle U, and it was 129 days before his birthday, which we know is 201 in base 8. And it was announced that they'll be joining the WCC on July 1st, 2025. That's 7/1 and Catholic 71.
Interesting. Yeah, good research.
I don't think I have anything else to add to this conversation, but yeah, I guess if anyone else wants to come on.
Well, here, I'll ask you this right now. The question was, how do we get humanity from this place where they operate in the realm of belief rather than the realm of thinking and research and critical thought? Do you know many people and the people in your life, do you see many of them stuck in the beliefs that they've had for their entire lifetime? Or do you see many people changing their idea about political party?
I think it seems like today with like the at least with like the presidential candidates getting like more and more ridiculous, I think at least the people that I'm around, they kind of seem to realize that. I think some of them are still kind of sucked into the two-party system, but they at least realize that like the candidates are kind of bogus. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think actually one thing that I kind of came to realize when I was like after I finished school was that like in school we weren't really taught how things worked, or like we weren't really taught about processes. We were more taught about like facts. And I think that's actually why a lot of people believe the flat Earth, because I mean the flat Earth is like it is. I can kind of see how you would initially believe it. Like I think if we were taught as kids that if we were taught the flat Earth model at like 5 or 6 years old, we'd believe it because we wouldn't really think anything else of it. So like I can kind of understand like why people might believe the flat Earth, because it's pretty simple. But then again, if you actually like do experiments and observe what's going on, you'll find out that's not the case. Like the thing is about like flat Earth, like as I said, like if you were young, like less than 10 years old, I could understand why you might believe it. But for an adult to believe it, I guess that doesn't really make any sense to me. But anyway, back to my point. I was saying that like in schools, I feel like we weren't really taught how things work. Like we were taught that the Earth is a globe, but we weren't really taught how they found out it's a globe. And I think if we were taught these things about like, if we were taught more about processes and how things work, I think that would encourage people to kind of think a little bit more when it comes to these things. Like even ever since I started kind of getting interested in flat Earth debunking, like 6 years ago, I've gotten more interested in like finding out like what stars we can see in the night sky and what planets you can see, and like why certain stars are only visible in certain seasons and when the planets come and all that. And and I think it's because of flat Earth debunking, it's kind of gotten me interested in figuring out, not only figuring out how people figured out that we live on a sphere, but also figuring out things alongside of that. Like, for example, with the full moon, a full moon is only a full moon when it's directly behind, when basically sun, earth, and moon are in a line. Basically, that's not really something I thought about until I started debunking flat Earth, and I was like, oh, so that's when it's a full moon. And the new moon, or I should say like an eclipse is only when it's a new moon, when the moon is in between the sun and Earth. And like I was talking to my parents about this because I've gotten interested in this over the last few years, and they didn't even know that. So I think if we're taught more about how things work instead of just like what they are, I think that would get people to think a little bit more. But again, that would have to start when we're young. We'd have to change how the schooling system works, which I don't really have faith in.
I hear it. All right, Evan. Well, I appreciate all the thoughts and ideas. Thanks for being the first caller.
All right, no problem. You have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, take care. All right, we got a couple more people on hold, 321 and 401. I'm going to go out to them. First, I just want to address a comment in the chat from Flat Earth Jackal. Again, Flat Earth Jackal's got down his cult lines, a common line from the Flat Earth cult. And understand, you guys, this isn't just a Flat Earth stream. It's just a stream about how people are so into their beliefs and egos and don't think or have independent thought and just go with herds. Again, how are we going to change this fact about humanity? Because until we figure out how to change this, and Flat Earth is part of it, it's like at the same time we defeat the Flat Earth psyop, it'll be the same time we defeat the federal government tyranny, because it's going to be the way that we figured out how to get humanity to see the forest for the trees and stop falling for all the agendas and what some person that they saw, some authority told them. But Flat Earth Jackal with the cult mantra says, we observe a flat and stationary Earth. Yeah, Flat Earth Jackal, you also observe a lot of things on the Earth that cannot be explained with a Flat Earth model like we've talked about. You also observe the sun rise due due east and set due west every single day. Horizon comes up behind the horizon, sets behind the horizon. These are all things that you could never observe on a flat Earth unless you get into some YouTube flat earther who will give you a false understanding of perspective and tell you a whole load of shit that you have to believe in that's totally untrue. So again, why do you observe a stationary Earth? And in what way is the Earth flat? Like from where I am, I can see 5 different mountains. You know what I mean? It's like flat. We got mountains all over the place out here. It's definitely not flat. But again, the reason, and maybe if there was a highlight last night to this debate thing that I was asked to come to that was just a total regret, if there was one nice moment, one of the flat earthers was doing what all flat earthers do. How come when I jump, the earth doesn't move out from under my feet? How come if I lift up in a helicopter, I can't just stay there and let the flat earth travel around? And then he was trying to make the point, well, the way I got him to understand it was, I said, okay, do you agree that if you're on an airplane and the airplane is moving 500 miles per hour and it's not changing speed, it's just at a constant rate of speed, it's not hitting any turbulence, it's just a smooth ride, not changing speed, you feel like you're sitting in your living room. You can walk to the lavatory, use the bathroom, you can walk back to your seat, you're not moving faster one direction than the other, you're in this contained system that's moving at this constant rate of speed. Again, the Earth and its atmosphere is like this contained system that's moving at this constant rate of speed. And again, flat earthers will always like to say, you really think the Earth is going in a circle at 1,000 miles per hour? Imagine that on a tennis ball. And it's like, okay, do they not see the difference between again, it's all perspective, right? This is where logic and critical thinking comes in. The Earth's circumference is approximately 24,000 miles. So it has to move 1,000 miles per hour to make a full rotation every 24 hours. I mean, imagine I'm here with this mug and I have to spin it one time on my finger over 24 hours. Think about how slow that would be. I mean, as you watched it, it would seem like it was never even moving almost. You know what I mean? One rotation over 24 hours. Flat earthers always spinning the tennis ball with several rotations per second. It's just like they don't understand the difference. And again, for every flat earther who says you need to research flat earth, for every flat earther who says that, you guys need to research the other side of the equation and see if you can start to answer the questions that you haven't wrapped your mind around. Are they lying to us about certain things of the heliocentric model on Earth? I'd have no doubt that they are. Does that mean the Earth is flat? No. Flat Earth, again, I've had it circling here the whole stream. It hasn't made sense a single time from anything that you observe on Earth. Again, as this moon passes over Earth, you would see all different sides of the moon. The dark side, all of it. But that's not how it works. And again, this isn't just a flat earth conversation. It is a conversation about how do we change humanity so it's not so invested in belief and it's more invested in finding out the truth and doing actual real research with critical thinking, a real scientific method. There's no one in the flat earth doing anything with the scientific method. You know, Jeranism tried it actually in that documentary about flat earthers, and he said if it doesn't work, it's going to prove the earth's not flat, and then sure enough, it didn't work. But he's still there, you know, catering to the flat earthers because they got, I don't know what it is about flat earthers, man. They are generous with their money. So if you guys ever see me selling out for the flat earth, I must have financial problems in my life. I'll put it that way. Let's go out to 321. What's up, 321?
Hey, Zach, I want to say I don't want to get too much on topic, but I've been waiting to call about this because this just happened in my city about 2 weeks ago. It happened, I kid you not, 3 to 4 minutes away from me. Did you hear about the Tank Bell shooting at the club?
Tank Bell?
Tank Bell, the wide receiver for the Texans.
Oh, Tank Dell. Okay.
Happened
I
in
didn't.
Stanford, Florida.
Okay, this happened April 19th.
Yes, sir. This happened like 3 minutes away from me, like I said. So yeah, what I wanted to bring up with that is, man, the youth in my city is completely fucked. I mean, the guy that shot up the club was a 16-year-old kid, and I don't doubt that he was from my neighborhood. Not only that, but man, I'll tell you, like, I just graduated in 2020. Going to high school in this city, I kid you not, three of my peer students committed suicide. Two of them in campus, and one of them I actually knew jumped in front of the train. So yeah, I just want to say the youth. It starts with the youth. The youth, at least in my city, I know in a lot of cities it's also really fucked up, but in my city it's very, very bad. And yeah, it sucks to grow up and still stay here because I'm not financially able to like move out yet, and it just sucks. I live in a bad neighborhood. It's not pretty at all. So I had to, just like a month ago, I just got my first gun. So yeah, I think it really starts with the youth. I think there should be something to like, because there is programs with criminality and whatnot, but that's something about that's got to be fixed.
Yeah, I agree. And they've done a number on the youth, especially in recent years with all the fear mongering and taking people out of school and disrupting the learning process. Yeah, humanity's in a bad spot.
Yeah, but yeah, there was a shooting last year in Stanford as well. It was tied to Kodak Black and Jack Boy beef. They ended up killing an innocent girl and injuring 4 other innocents that had nothing to do with the beef because they were at the concert and they thought that was the rapper they wanted to get. And what's crazy is I actually know about 3 of the people in that gang. Like I've seen them around my school. So yeah, just being like experiencing it firsthand. It starts with the youth. I think that dumb adults, if your pineal gland already developed and you're still dumb, I really don't think there's much hope for you.
Well, I think all of us can improve our intelligence by doing things like eating better and using our brain and getting a good night's sleep. So I think people who are not doing that well right now cognitively can improve their position. Just like how if your body was I mean, seriously, like if you're not taking care of your body, if you're eating poorly, if you start putting the right nutrients in, you start exercising, your body becomes powerful and strong. So I think it's the same thing with the mind. And I think we just got to figure out a way to reach people and help humanity see why we're at a critical moment. We got to figure out how to do something different because we're going to a bad place fast if we don't change our ways.
Yes, sir. That's right. But yeah, I originally wanted to call about the Tank Dell shooting, see if you heard anything about it, see if there was any ritualistic sides to it, because I know criminality in this city is bad. So he could have very well just been there hanging out, and all of a sudden random shots rang out. But you know how these elites get down. Everything's got to be ritualistic. So I was wondering about that too.
I'll go back and look more at it. So I missed that story, so I appreciate you bringing it to my radar. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Okay, let's go out to 401. 401.
The earth is not flat, nigger, day 25 on you, nigger, it's niggers.
And there's a troll. God, this is pathetic. Let me, that's the nice thing about this thing. When you get a troll, you can block out their phone number, but he's probably calling from a burner phone number anyway. Let me see. There were some when he was talking, there were some comments left in the chat that I wanted to address. Mad Villain came in and asked a question that I've already answered 1,000 times, including in this stream. Again, Mad Villain, like I said, a lot more credible explanation for why NASA is performing hoaxes in a lot of regards, and no doubt they are, is the same way the media like hoaxes us with what happened with the Key Bridge, like things that we actually prove, how they create these scams so that they can tax or justify all the taxes that we are already paying. They have to create all these reasons and excuses and storylines to explain why we pay so much of our wealth every year in taxes. NASA's part of that. That's an explanation that fits in with all these other events that we see in the way we're lied to. That makes a lot more sense than supposedly trying to hide the flat earth and the ice wall like it's Game of Thrones on Jesuit-run HBO. And let's not forget that this whole ice wall thing and the flat earthers, that's one of their big things. That did get popular right when like Game of Thrones was at its pinnacle. I didn't think that was an accident either at the time. For my friend in the UK who does share our videos a lot, but's also a flat earther, again, I've always said if anything's off about the model, they might have fudged the numbers. They might have changed the model to make the numbers just right, or those are the true numbers of the model, and that's where a lot of these numbers gain their significance from. You know, just because you're like, oh, what about all the 666 stuff with the Earth and its speed? Again, there is a reason that number got significance somewhere. Didn't just come out of nowhere. So I don't think that's proof that the Earth is flat. I think that's a dumb argument too. You can't find an argument that the flat Earth community puts out that's not dumb. All right, let's go out to 615. What's up, 615?
Hello.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah,
Yeah, what's up?
I was just gonna say, like on that, like that flat Earth and that globe shit. I went through the rabbit hole, just like most been coming on the channel. Everybody lay their experiences out, whatever. Cool. I didn't even know who you was. I came across Bro Sanchez first. Wrote that for about 2 years. Didn't get nowhere. Everybody got to stop, like, dick eating. Let me watch my French. Everybody got to stop falling in love with these narratives. Like, even when Gematria lines up perfectly, or almost, and it don't hit tonight because we betting on this team. That's not. I just finished watching the Fallout show, and I know it sounds like I'm going everywhere, but humanity right now, it seems like the people that live in those vaults. 200 years past, nuclear fallout on the surface. Nobody has an idea of what the fuck is going on upstairs. And this just what's been going on.
The idea, I haven't seen that show, but isn't the idea in that show that like the super rich were the ones that were prepared for it, living in the bunkers?
Basically, yeah, in a way, but it's ran by the 1%, and it's like this is literally what we dealing with every day. Like dude that was just talking about, I knew this dude, and this dude got hit by a train, and all of this. We get so excited about the little shit. Like even with the flat earth shit, like I'm I hate to even say it, I was a flat earther at one point. I just knew because I wanted so bad for this shit to be. I know they're not, everybody goes through that shit. I know they're not telling us the truth, etc., whatnot. The earth isn't round. It's not really not. All of that. Then you run through the rabbit hole, you get nowhere. Well, we gonna all get on a boat and take a voyage to the ice wall or Hollow Earth. We done seen the King Kong movies, and we like, that's gotta be it. Type shit. Like, people just clickbait. It sucks. We all TikTokers. Everybody keeps saying like, it's all on the youth. Yeah, it is, but at the same time, like, what we just gonna unsubscribe from all this shit? Like we got the Drake and Kendrick beef. All the, it's too many distractions. And then people come and be like, you know, Gematria is 100%, Flat Earth is 100%. It's just understand, like, have just, it's really just awareness, honestly. Like, we read too much in this shit. This pointless.
I'm not exactly
trying to
understanding
ramble, I'm just
I'm
saying,
not
like,
exactly
it's just
understanding.
crazy out here.
Hold on
saw
real
this
quick.
young dude come
Hold
up
on.
here
Hold on real quick.
talking about, yeah, I seen,
Can you hear me?
I was this close to this event and all that shit. And it's just like, bro,
Can you hear what I'm saying?
why are you even worried about that shit?
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, caller.
Like, dude,
Thank you.
what?
Thank you. I'm starting to think that was a recording. Was that a caller or a recording? It's like, how does he not hear me talking back to him? But yeah, I was just starting to lose the direction and the point of that he's trying to make. Again, I'll tell you what the point of this channel is. The point of this channel is to stop the tyranny that's been taking place in this nation that we live in here in the USA and elsewhere for all of our lives. Yeah, I've just been fed up with it since I was an adult. I do not want to have to pay taxes to this system. I don't want to have to behave the rules of this system. You know, if the federal government wasn't here, would I just turn into a bad person? No, I just want to be subjected to their bullshit rules and taxation. I don't think anybody should have to be subjected to this federal government that's based in lies, tyranny, overtaxation, nonstop fear. It's messed up our schools intentionally. Again, because it's controlled by something that's not American. Again, the founders warned about this. When you have the central bank, your nation's done. And this nation's been done for a long time. My work is about evidence each day showing the way we're being bamboozled and lied to and herded and how people are believing in false systems that need to be overthrown. And I feel like I do a great job every single day of exposing and proving that. And again, there's not a lot of support in the world for it. Had I decided to go the route of flat earther in 2015, I guarantee you I'd be doing way better financially. Had I monetized and jumped on the flat earth wagon, became a big flat earth promoter, oh man, this channel would have done way better. I wouldn't even needed to nail Prince's death and every sports future in 2016 and 2017 minus the NHL Stanley Cup. Again, what are we doing over here? We're doing things that people don't resonate with. People don't resonate with math. They don't resonate with research, critical thinking, truth, evidence. They're more into fantasy, entertainment, beliefs. People really like bullshit more than anything else. I'm trying to always keep it on the right path where humanity needs to go over here. Again, I try to serve as a good example for what people should. Of course, I do have my character flaws, but again, I have shown persistence and dedication and proven my point in spades. Sadly, we don't have enough people with enough IQ points in the world to appreciate it. You know? That's really the real dilemma. You know, if this was a flat earth live stream, we probably already would have made at least $300 in super chats. Right now we have zero. And that's fine. I didn't come on here to get super chats. I'm just saying. Flat earth is money. Things I do? Not really. Let's go out to 505. What's up, 505?
Hey, what's up, Zach? Thank you for taking my call. I agree with you about your criticisms of the flat earthers. Anybody promoting a flat earth model is necessarily doing so prematurely because they don't have additional information. No one's gone to the edge, just excuses. And so I think anyone promoting a model is essentially pushing a straw man. And most of the arguments that you cited are in fact deliberate misrepresentations of the globe model. So it's not even a valid criticism to say, look, the water drips off of a soccer ball, therefore how does water stick to a globe? Well, the globe model assumes a center of gravity,
Right.
You know, that
right.
draws it uniformly.
Right.
So they misrepresent it.
That's what's annoying about flat earthers. Flat earthers say, I don't believe that, so it doesn't matter, and here's my spinning tennis ball. This is what the earth should be doing. It's like, don't you see how dumb this is? I mean, what's the point of doing this? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's an argument. That's an argument from incredulity. And my criticism of the flat earthers writ large is that many of these arguments are dishonest and deliberately ignoring the big question. Like, who's going to go to the edge? Who's going to, because I'll be honest, I don't believe NASA at all, but I'm not going to say I know the earth is this with a dome. I'm just going to be left with shape agnosticism until I have better answers. But the reason I don't believe NASA is that it all looks fake to me, but more importantly, looking at the symbolism, it seems like NASA might be the esoteric cover for the elite mystery Babylon. Basically, like the obelisk worship is the rocket these days. So I don't even trust NASA to be scientific. I think it's religion. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I don't disagree. Again, I get so annoyed with flat earthers coming here. Zach supports NASA. It's like, where have I ever supported NASA? I've spent a lot of time exposing the rituals of NASA and why they do things lined up with astrology and numbers and how it all goes back to masonry and what's going on with our federal government. Like you just said, flat earthers are always making dishonest arguments. A lot of the ones that have been following me for a long time, they know that the arguments they're leaving and the comments they're leaving are dishonest themselves, but they don't care. They just do it anyway. It's like a pack of children. It's like a pack of
There's a
little...
good possibility.
Go ahead.
Well, there's a possibility it's not organic. Have you considered that maybe a lot of these big channels are actually part of a controlled opposition?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Represent
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you guys have been here the whole time, you know how all the big flat earth channels used to attack me nonstop in 2015, 2016. ODD Reality, the rapist, made a video about how lame it was when I was talking about diet and exercise. I was like, God, this is the way he's going to come at me. I was like, if you guys don't know who ODD Reality is, he's a big fat slob, and he attacked a video I did on nutrition. I was just like, I can't even figure out what's going on here. I mean, God, but yeah, all of them are. Retard from Boston,
Yeah, okay.
Jeranism, they're all part. When the cars crashed through my house, every flat earth channel made a video about how the car crash at my house was a hoax. Every single one of them. Russian vids, ODD, channels I can't remember, A Call for an Uprising. All these people did it, and yeah, they are the controlled opposition. And that's what I've been explaining to people. It's a psyop. These are the people who are here to make this community look stupid. That's their real purpose, to make money, to fleece the community, and delegitimize it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and something people may not know is that the organizers of the Flat Earth conferences, and I could name names, but it's easier to research, the big names, even like names everybody here would recognize. These individuals are all connected to significantly disturbed individuals who shouldn't even be out on the street. Like, in other words, the Flat Earth Conference had mostly sex offenders. One of them was even a predator on parole. But these are all...
You're talking about ODD Reality. You're talking about ODD Reality, right? That's what you're talking about.
Well, there's a few others.
There's more too, okay.
Another speaker at the conference. And then there was Philip Stallings, who's actually in prison for 56 counts of terrible stuff. And then there's there's just too many to name. And I'm saying that these were all plants. That the whole conference movement was plants. And what it did was it took the question of flat Earth and questioning NASA and questioning our cosmology, and they ran it into a cult that centered around conferences as some kind of a honeypot, but it was totally mismanaged rather. And if you'll notice, who was the headliner for each of these conferences? You had Logan Paul, some Disney creation. You had someone that they could easily label as a racist, anti-Semite, Owen Benjamin. So they constantly shot themselves in the foot. And I'm saying, yeah, it was by design. The Flat Earth movement has no credibility. And I don't have any time for it other than, when is someone going to make an effort to go deep, deep, deep south?
What, I didn't make out the last thing you just said. When is what going to happen?
When are they going to gather up and go deep south, Antarctica?
Oh, right. That's what I said. Hey, I said that in 2015. I said that in 2015 when it first happened. I said, okay, all you guys need to pull your resources together. I see there's a lot of money in this. Get on the big cruise ship. Take it down and expose the ice wall and the military blockade and the land that Admiral Byrd saw beyond Antarctica. I mean, go prove it. It's all provable then. So.
Yeah, one final point before I go here. I was on Twitter, and I follow this channel. He's like a big right-wing guy, Stu Peters. And he posts something about how there's more land beyond Antarctica. So a bunch of flat earthers retweet him, right? Well, his very next tweet, it has him in some kind of a deliverance type of garb, carrying a noose. So if you follow any big channel that promotes flat Earth, you're automatically going to be put into the same category as racists and anti-Semites. It's a honeypot, but it's also a tarnish. It's a way to destroy your reputation.
Exactly.
So it's just too contaminated.
Exactly.
But thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, great call. I really appreciate you phoning in. And him bringing up Stu Peterson just reminds me that, again, Stu Peterson's the guy that had the thing go viral in 2022 with, cobra venoms and all the jabs. It's like, come on, man. Cobra venom? I'm sure there's a lot of other ways they could have gone about this without like extracting all this cobra venom. I suppose maybe you could synthesize it, but it's just like, why is this what's going viral? How come the whole world doesn't know about the 1,056 rituals they did through the whole pandemic, and people would understand where the significance of that number comes from and why it goes back to the 56 signers, and you can see what's really running this nation. And let's not forget that, I forget what the name of that video was. Was it In the Water? I forget what it was. Hold on. I got to look it up. Stu Peters. What's in the water? Is that what it was? Watch the Water. Here, I just want to make a point. If I'm not mistaken, I remember even the title of this thing that went viral being 56. Watch the Water. Yeah, exactly. Look at it. 155, 56, 70, just like coronavirus, right? This is the thing that went viral. God. Watch the water. The water always finds its level. Cobra venom. It's like, fuck, when do we get to go viral for being on point? How come my book didn't go viral? It should have sold a gazillion copies after the prediction landed. I rushed that book out to save humanity in 2020. Said as soon as the year of the tiger comes around, they're going to wind down all their bullshit pandemic. What do you know? The year of the tiger came around and they just started ending all the stuff everywhere just instantly. I was like, okay, another major prediction dead on the money. Not to mention we saw 2020 coming a mile away. But yeah, I mean, it's just like we never get our flowers. We never get the respect. Financial support never comes in. Meanwhile, and this is about it being a psyop too. Like, who donated $800 to Bro Sanchez TV last night? His contributions were like, hey, what's up, man? The moon is a hologram. Ching, ching, ching. It's like, what the fuck, man? I mean, are they paying him because it's embarrassing to put that video on the internet making these claims? I mean, maybe that's what you're getting paid the big bucks for, to just put out these really stupid statements to see how many suckers you can pull right in. So, yeah, I'll never sell myself out for any dollar bills. Let's go out to 505. What's up, 505?
Oh, that was all. I was hanging on to the call listening. I'll be listening offline. Again, thanks again for taking my call.
All right, yeah, thank you. Take care. All right, let me go out to 347. It's 347's turn.
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
Hey, Zach.
Yeah, what's up?
Can you hear me?
You're loud and clear.
Okay, cool. Back to this flat Earth stuff. I don't know what it is. Round, flat. I don't know. That's where everything comes full circle. Because if you really think about it, okay, say you're on a boat, and I'm standing at the shore, and the boat goes over, and you would assume it's going over the curve when I lose perception of it. But if I get a telescope or something, I'm able to see binoculars, I'll be able to see you again. So does the binocular vision?
Hold on. I just gotta stop you. And if you continue to watch it, it's gonna disappear over the horizon from the bottom up. The last thing you'll see is the tip of that sail, and then it'll be gone. Yes, you can watch it. You can bring it back into focus with the telescope, but eventually you're going to watch it go beyond the horizon. You're not going to be able to watch it sail all the way across the ocean.
No, okay, now listen, now if you bring out binoculars, you'll be able to see the boat again. It didn't go over no curve, did it?
Yes, it did. That's why it disappeared.
Okay, so the binoculars, the vision of the binoculars is bending according to the curve.
No, it's
okay,
that
so
you're within your own naked eye. With your own naked eye. Hold on. I'm answering your question. With your own naked eye, the boat went out of vision.
Hold on 1 second. Can I just? All right. So we're at the shore, and I'm at the sand, and you just take your jet ski or boat, whatever you want, and you just go straight across the water, right? Eventually, I'll lose perception of you. So that's people saying, oh, he's going over the curve. All right, so cool. Now I pull out binoculars. No.
I'm sorry. I can't listen to this bullshit. That's not going over the curve when it goes out of eyesight. When it goes out of curve, over the curve is when you're watching it through the telescope and you're watching it disappear all the way from the
Okay,
bottom
so,
up.
so what,
Hold on. I'm going to make a point. I'm going to make, hold on.
About 6 feet of curvature.
Okay,
or 6
God.
miles of curvature. Whatever
Listen, what's
mathematics-
annoying, I don't like when flat earthers try to talk over me because I don't mean to be mean, you guys, but flat earthers are dumb fucking people. Stop talking and listen. Listen, here's how you can prove that the earth is not flat with exactly what he's saying. You can prove it all day. If you're down on the beach, if you're on the beach and you're watching the boat disappear from the bottom up and the last thing you see is the top of the sail through your telescope, you know what's amazing? If you're like at a beach, Oregon's coast is like this. About 400 yards from some spots on the beach. In some spots, it's even less. In some spots, it'd be like 200 yards. There's massive cliffs right behind the beach. Massive cliffs. If you go up on top of that cliff and you're watching the boat with your telescope, you can watch it go a lot further before it finally disappears because of that angle. And that's because of curvature. Not what flat earthers would say like, oh no, it just went out of the visible range of the telescope. No, bullshit. It went beyond the curve. And because the earth is curved, if you're at a higher elevation watching the same object, you can watch it travel for longer because of your angle. And again, maybe trying to explain these things to flat earthers is beyond the possibility of their comprehension because it doesn't seem that they have any. But just listening to this shit's so annoying, you guys. I do not like listening to flat earth arguments because they're just the same stupid bullshit. Did you hear what he said? He set up just a whole false argument. He goes, if I lost sight of it with my eye, that would be it going beyond the curve. But then when I pull out my P90 and I can see it again, then I brought it back up so there is no curve. No. Wrong. You watch with the P90 until it goes all the way gone. That's when it went beyond the curve. I'm going to let this guy talk again, but again, I just explained how any flat earther can go put out an experiment and see that the earth is not flat. Come out to the Oregon coast and do exactly what I just said. You get two flat earthers can team it up and you'd be like, yeah, how is this possible? This is going against all of our theories. God, I guess we just debunked flat earth here on the Oregon coast. Let's go out to 347 to see if he can clean it up. 347, one more chance.
Yeah, Zach, look, this is the point I'm trying to make. We're taught this from when we're children. We have no idea on what we're living on as people.
We can use our faculties.
Oh my God. Hold on. Listen, they can tell us anything since we were children. Who gives a fuck about George Washington or anything like that? Why do they teach you this when you're a fucking child?
Teach you what?
Why do they teach you these things when you're a child? And who the fuck do you know ever wanted to say and became an astronaut and said, I'm going to be an astronaut tomorrow and became a fucking astronaut? I never knew.
None of these arguments have to do with the shape of the earth.
Astronaut.
Again, there were things we were taught in school. Hold on. There were things we were taught in school that were an absolute bullshit and waste of our time and indoctrination, all the stuff about Christopher Columbus and Manifest Destiny. This is why in America we don't have the good jobs. We have a bunch of foreigners that have all the best jobs. But hold on. There were things that we learned in school that we could use to benefit our lives as well. And you had to use a lot of your own discernment and your own faculties to put those tools to work. But math, reading, writing, you might have got a teacher that taught you logic. There were things you could have learned along the way that are useful.
Okay, and I understand that, and that's and as far as reading and stuff like that. But we're also reading something like you do things with the numbers, and you correlate everything to each other through sports. How do we even know the language that we are speaking today isn't detrimental to us in the long run or the whole entire time?
I've often theorized that it is. I've often theorized that it is. I mean, those are things still to be discovered fully.
We as a people don't even know the language that we speak, don't even know how to properly use it. Not saying that I do, but we don't.
Okay, but hold on. I want to go back to where your call started and try to make a point here. Your call started by making a false flat earth point that's made all the time. I came back with you logic. Hold on. I came back at you with real logic and real reason and a real experiment that you can do on a lot of coasts in the world to prove that it's going behind the curve. And you can expand how long you see by climbing an elevation, which only makes sense on a spherical Earth. Huh?
Can I ask you, Zach, can I ask you a question about, okay, so do you believe that story about Pangea or whatever, I'm not too familiar about all the continents?
That it used to be one massive continent that broke up because of tectonic plates?
Yes. Yes. Now hold on. Now look, I was looking at the water from the bridge one day, and I'm seeing all the land, and I say, is the water filling all the land, or is the land connected to the bottom? So when Pangea happened, all the continents are separated from the bottom. How did that happen?
The idea is that the landmass go. Hold on. The idea is the landmass does go down.
Hold on. If the land.
What?
Now, okay, if it goes all the way down, how far does it go down? And when it separates, right? When it separates, you're separating continents now. You're separating one large landmass into multiple different ones that you have to travel by boat now. It's not like you could just step over a crack and end up in a different continent. You have to travel by boat now. How is this happening? Where is this breaking? Where is this ground breaking at? And if it's on a bowl, I'm not saying that I'm a flat earther or anything. I don't know. I personally don't know. And nobody can tell me that they know, because they don't know. This is the point that I'm trying to get to.
You're not making any logical points. I'm not hearing any logical points. I'm sorry. I'm just hearing a bunch of just like nonsense.
Say that again?
You're not making any logical points.
How is that? I'm just asking you a question and how is that not like, how is that not, I'm not making a logical point because I don't know what it is, and I can't defend something that I know what it is when nobody knows. And in fact, a fact is a fact. You cannot debate a fact. So if there's people debating that the globe or the flat earth, that's already proven that neither one is a fact.
Okay, hold on. It's already I'm sorry. I don't want to talk to this person. I'm sorry, guys. That's a flat earther. You know, they just sound fucking retarded. I can't put it any other way. It's like, what do we do about this? Like, seriously, what's the solution? Is the solution to just get rid of the fucking retards? I've said that a million times, that I think maybe that's what we got to do. But nothing he just said is logical, and he doesn't understand it. No, there are experiments that can be done to prove things. Again. You're saying the spherical model's not real, yet it predicts everything perfectly. The spherical model is the basis for how they predict where the stars are going to be, eclipses are going to happen, conjunctions. All of this stuff is based on observing what's out there from a spherical Earth. It's all mathematics. So I would say it's very much proven. And what you have are these people with these really small minds with like no intellect, no common sense, because they can't grasp certain things because they also got a really shit education. They just talk like that. And it's just like, Jesus, this is just like, it's just painful to listen to. It's like, what the fuck are you even saying? You're not saying anything. Your Pangea argument, what point did you just think you made? How does it go all the way down then? Does he not understand that the idea of the oceans is like these massive craters between the heavy land masses is where the water filled in? I mean, like, what the fuck's going on in his head? Does he think continents are like floating, tube that you put out in the pool and lay back? This continent's just floating here on the ocean until I mean, it's just, seriously. Yes, school can be indoctrination, but it can also be a place to actually learn things that you should know. So you don't think that North America's, I haven't been by the pool by so long, I can't even think what the thing's called. An inner tube? Thinks it's a big inner tube you float on? It's just like, come on, man. Now, and if I see any retards coming in here leaving comments like, Bro Sanchez owned Zach last night, the only person to ever say that's a fucking retard. I'm sorry, Bro Sanchez didn't make a single credible point last night. Again, he just, his arguments are, well, do you own a telescope? Because if you don't own a telescope, you can't talk about telescopes. I own a telescope. Has anyone seen this dumb motherfucker using a telescope? If he has a telescope and still thinks the Earth's flat, he's an even bigger fucking retard than we already thought or knew. Anyway. Let's go out to 708. 708, what's up? I can't hear you. Your phone's all static. What did you say? Call back 708. 708, call back in. Your phone is all broken up. Call me back. I'll look for your 708 number. Let's go on to 587.
Oh,
Hey, Zach.
Yeah, what's up?
Hello. Hey, there's a lady who I've always wanted you to interview. Her name is Dr. Amanda Obama.
Huh?
And there's a doctor who I always wanted you to interview. Her name is Dr. Amanda Obama.
Amanda Plummer?
Bomber, B-O-L-L-M-E-R. She was banned on YouTube because she's a doctor and she spoke about COVID and she spoke about all sorts of things, and she has brought you up and has given you props for your work. And I just think that you guys would make a good combo. She talked about all sorts of topics like natural health. She makes natural products and essentially helps people heal from cancer and all that stuff. Anyways, yeah, Dr. Amanda Bomber. Check out her website, yummy.doctor. Yummy.doctor. D-O-C-T-O-R. Yummy.doctor.
Does she have a book called Healing with DMSO? Is that her?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And sometimes to talk about something topics that you do, and like the judge life and all that stuff. So I just think you guys will be able to think. You have a good combo, you know? Yes. Dr. Amanda Bomber. She has a whole bunch of videos on her website. She got banned off YouTube. And yeah.
Okay, we'll check it out. I appreciate it.
Her website is... Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll appreciate it. Yeah, thanks. All right. No, I'm not going to be nice when I talk about flat earthers. I mean, did you see what I did last night, Bro Sanchez? I was very patient for 4 hours, which was a total waste of my time talking to a community of fucking retards and fucking idiots. And then at the end, when I made a fair point, they just kicked me off and start talking all this shit. Flat earthers are fucking losers, okay? Every last flat earther is a fucking retard and a fucking loser. And that goes with every last Trump supporter, every last Biden supporter, every last news-watching fucking retard that still gets their information from Anderson Cooper or any of these fucking frauds. Tucker Carlson, they're all frauds. How many dummies think Tucker Carlson is a truth teller? That guy after 9/11 was on CNN shit-talking anybody who questioned the attack. Now you look at all these sorry-ass motherfuckers that think Tucker Carlson's some truth teller. This is only possible because of the society of fucking rejects they've raised here. And that's ultimately what this stream's about. What are we going to do about this society of fucking retards and fucking rejects? It's not take a breath and relax. No, it's like, what the fuck are we going to do? Look how dumb humanity is. Do you know how dumb people got to be to think the earth is flat? And to think a moon going over the earth? Like, anyone with a brain would be like, well, that's weird because you'd see every fucking side of the moon if it was that way. Couldn't possibly be that way. This guy last night, he was like, oh, no, you just don't understand because the perspective of Earth. It's just like, listen to these fucking morons. Like, you can't even put into words how stupid these people are. Again, you guys, I can't get away from who I really am because who I really am is someone who's been fed up since I was a child. Again, I started to see people were dumb when I was a child. And it's infuriating to have to live 30 plus more years, and just watch the world get dumber and fatter and stupider and more arrogant in their stupidity too. That's what peeves me about flat earthers. They're so fucking dumb and don't have a clue of how stupid they are. But there's so many of them, there's a massive pack of them. You know, they think they're righteous because they're a big pack of fucking retards. Again, I guess just having this conversation brings me back to my ultimate rant about maybe the Georgia Guidestones aren't wrong. You know, maybe like the super rich who do educate their children to make sure they get all the best, maybe they should put them all in the bunkers and just get rid of everybody else. I'd like to sneak into one of them, But man, they've created such a dumb populace, it's disgusting. And it really does. It's just like the Tool song, Anima. Flush it all in the fucking toilet. There's a reason that people resonate with bands and songs like that, because there's a lot of people that have this sentiment, and they're typically more intelligent people. Again, just flat earthers. All your dumb arguments about NASA and their hoaxes does not prove the earth is a flat. I mean, why do you you look at the chat and they're doing the same thing every time. They're like, well, then why did NASA lie about this if the earth isn't flat? It's like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? NASA lied means that the shape of the earth is flat, even though they figured out the earth was a sphere back in the BCs? Before Jesus, they figured out the earth was a sphere. God. You listen to Flat Earthers, no, it was Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think, and maybe NASA, and the water always finds its level. God, where do these people come from? 601.
Yes, Mr. Hubbard.
That would be me.
I'm thinking of Mr. Hubbard.
You called the right show.
All right, this is Zachary. All right.
You got to mute the video in the background. You got to mute the video in the background. Mute your video, please.
Is that better?
Your video's still playing in the background.
Zach, can you hear me?
Yeah, you need to close your video and just talk through the phone. Okay. I'm just going to go on a limb and guess that guy's a flat earther, but I got to move on. We don't have any more callers here, but if you guys want to call in, the number is on the screen, 563-999-3532. Again, it's not rocket science when you call in. Just mute the video. You're talking to me through the phone. I don't know if it does show maturity to always be nice. I don't know if it does. Like, what I show is a sense of urgency and outrage for everything that's wrong, and I think if more people had it in them, they might have done what I did for the last decade. You know, change their life and figure out a way to speak out every single fucking day and try and make a difference. All these maturity people who haven't done shit about shit and just, they gotta all be so mild-mannered. Again, in a way, to me, that's just like indoctrination talking. You're the same person who wants to see a guy in a suit and talk all bullshit to you on the TV and tell you all the lies each night in a nice, mild-mannered tone. Again, that's not who I am. I'm the guy who's fed up with the fucking world. I mean, that's the real person I am, and that's been coming through crystal clear for a decade. And yeah, a lot of people don't resonate with it because they're not really that fed up. They're on YouTube looking for something cool to think about. Oh, some new information. I'm on the YouTube because I didn't know where else to go in the world to try and get out an important message. And once upon a time, it did feel like it was successful, and we were growing rapidly in 2016 and 2017 with all the censorship. By the way, Bro Sanchez last night, he made the point that he goes, Flat Earth is the most censored thing on YouTube. I said, how many times have you lost your channel? And he goes, well, that doesn't mean anything. I've never violated the terms of service. I said, well, I've lost a lot of videos and channels for not violating the terms of service. You know, I've had all kinds of rituals performed on my channel. I'm on channel number 25. Don't tell me Flat Earth's the most censored thing on YouTube. It was the thing that was the most promoted from 2015 to 2018, and then they took it down on purpose with everything else so that they could equate my work essentially with Flat Earth and everybody else who was doing something that was actually helpful to the world, exposing the evils and corruption of government. You know, from 2015 to 2018, the common bot post was just, I bet this guy thinks the earth is flat. Just a way to drop a comment so that some other, you know, turd coming through like, oh, maybe that's true. Maybe this guy's a flat earther too. I'm not going to watch this video. Like, I don't have anything to do with Flat Earth. I've been speaking out against it. Here's the truth. A person like you is just a little instigator troll in the comments. I talk about all things openly and honestly so that people resonate. A little pipsqueak like you just talking shit in the chat doesn't even have the balls to call on the phone. That's when I know you're a fucking loser. And that's why you get the ban stick. Yeah, I'll give out the bans to all the fucking losers around here. And there's a lot of you. Zach even says bad things about his mom. I tell you the truth about my mom because a lot of people have moms like mine, and there's something that needs to be done about that too. This idea that you need to grow up like totally respecting your parents and do everything they tell you, I don't think that's true either. And a lot of children probably need to hear that message. It is good to respect your parents and make them happy and make them proud, but you might have a parent that gives you a lot of bad advice or shits on all your dreams or sabotages every successful avenue you have for God knows what reason. And you have a right to have a problem with that. Is it possible to stop talking about flat earth here? I mean, every time I do a live stream and I look at the chat, somebody's talking about flat earth. There's an argument about flat earth. There's somebody calling into TFR, at least one caller every week about flat earth. Like I've said, flat earth is symbolic of what is wrong with the world. It symbolizes there's a lot of dumb people. It symbolizes there's a lot of gullible people. It symbolizes there's a lot of people that just want to go with some herd. They just want to be part of some herd. All of these things are why the world is fucked, okay? And I've been pointing this out since 2015 too. I explained this back in 2015. I said the thing that frustrates me about the flat earth is it just like, it puts a big exclamation point on what's wrong with humanity. Like no critical thinking, fall for anything, just go along with the group. It's pathetic. Shout out to Marty. Hey, it's good to see you in the chat, Marty. Congrats. Yeah, Mandela effect, another thing that was just making people lose their mind. 919, you're on.
Hey, Zach, how are you?
Yeah, what's up?
I just wanted to say thank you for all that you do. I've been a long-time follower. I bought both your books, followed you on your gambling for a little bit. Gambling is just not my thing. But I just wanted to say thank you, brother. You are a hero on this planet.
Well, you're welcome. I wish more people respected what we were doing over here, but I do appreciate the call. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, let's go on to 928.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
Not much, man. Just chilling. Yeah, like America's fucking. I think it's done. It's over. It's cooked. Like, I don't know how it got to the. Well, I do know how it got to this point, but it's just amazing to see how, like, depraved and how fucking degenerate society has become ever since, like, 2001. And that's kind of like the catalyst for me to, that was my red pill moment, I guess, like many others. And yeah, like the Q thing and the fucking flat earth thing, they're both like huge honeypots.
Yep.
Like, how can you not see that?
Yep. We called out Q right away too from day one. We called out Q and showed the 201 on it. Again, I mean, exactly. Flat Earth and Q have a lot in common, and they both fed on religious people and Christians. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Did you want to add more?
I kind of lost you there. I couldn't hear what you were saying. Sorry.
I think we lost you. I think you cut out. Yeah, go ahead. I think you cut out, but we're listening.
All right. So is there a topic on this show, or?
Well, the question really that I posed before I opened the phone line is, what do we do about the state of humanity? How, again, I mean, it really is inept. It's like you see this dumb society, this obese society. They seemingly don't care about anything, not even their own bodies. They're gullible. They're easily fooled. They're cheering for an overgrown Orange Oompa Loompa. People looking for answers are getting sucked into obvious psyops like flat Earth. I mean, how do we change the course of humanity? Is it even possible?
Oh man, that's a great question. It seems like, people are under mass hypnosis, like they're just stuck in this hive mind, and they can't snap out of it. And it's everyone's divided. So I don't think another calamity could really unite people, maybe, but yeah, man, it feels like it. I don't know. I follow a guy named Goro on he has a website, and he wrote a book called Time Rivers, and his theories like we're at the end of human history. So I kind of go into that realm, like we didn't pass the test as a species.
I got to ask you a question real quick. I got to ask you a question real quick. How
Piper, as bleak as that sounds.
How old are you?
What's that?
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 38.
So you're a little bit younger than me. So you probably graduated in high school about 2003?
2004.
2004. Okay, yeah, right around there.
Yeah,
we're around the same age, so maybe we have similar perspective. Doesn't it seem like just everything has gotten exponentially worse really fast in just the 21st century?
Yeah, man, it seems like fucking hyper speed, like the degeneracy and just the moral decay. Like you look at other countries like Japan, who's based their values on family, and they don't let Western influences get involved, and they don't even have their percentage of homeless people on the streets it's 0%. So everything's reversed. We live in an upside down bubble in fucking America. It's crazy.
Sure.
It's fucking.
The point I wanted to make about that question, though, real quick, about just things getting a lot worse, a lot faster in the 21st century. I mean, the big difference has been computers. A lot of people didn't have computers at the end of the 20th century. Everybody has them now. And technology, again, it's separated a lot of people. It's made people's lives sedentary. It's like humanity's less connected than ever. Well, in a way, it's connected through online, but just like in terms of like physical relationships, it's like humanity really needs to examine what's gone wrong in the 21st century so we can like take it back 30 years. Because again, people were not this dumb. People were not this sick and ill and obese. And that's why I think that things can be changed, but it's going to have to take some big like explosion in culture in terms of awareness. Like, oh my God, what has happened to us so fast? How do we stop it now? And I don't know. That's really what I'd like to achieve with this show. Where's the $1 million idea to correct the path that humanity's on right now? Because like you just said, it's like it's going to the end. It looks like destruction is imminent. And I mean, obviously, for those of us who are here, we don't want it to be that way. So.
Yeah, man, I would love to see a world where we could all kind of benefit from one another, and there isn't division, and we would all kind of accept ideas instead of just saying, no, my idea is still the only way, and that type of mentality. But it's just, I think we've gone too far past that point, and everyone has an opinion now, and it's just fucking, it's hard to fathom. I don't think humanity has ever faced a time where we have so many multiple extinction level events that could happen with AI and nukes and things that can just eradicate us.
Weather warfare? Yeah, all this technology that can be... that's what I'm trying to get people to say. Technology has been used to destroy us. It didn't have to be this way. It could have been used in a brilliant way to make humanity better, but they've used it as a way to divide us and conquer us and keep us so entertained and pacified and not moving and killing ourselves, and the next thing you know, people are just sitting on their ass all day, getting fatter and sloppier, and they're signed up for 10 different pharmaceutical drugs they wouldn't otherwise need. All of this stuff is... I knew it was such a bad sign at the beginning of the 2000s when that that movie WALL-E came out for children, I was like, what kind of movie is this for kids? I mean, this is like telling us where they're taking us, and it really, it's the roadmap for where we are now. If you guys have never seen WALL-E, just the most ridiculous movie ever made for children in a sense, but we're here.
Yeah, man. It's wild. Like, I just saw an article today about the school in Topeka, Kansas that they got $5 million in grants to outfit the school with surveillance cameras and with artificial intelligence systems that can spot kids carrying guns. It's like, what the fuck, man? This is like dystopia 19. I mean, it's here. It's now. It's not in the future.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Indeed. All right, friend. Well, I appreciate the call and the sentiment, and thanks for being part of the show. Did you want to say something else?
Well, to answer your question about what we can try to do, I think it just starts at a level with yourself, which is trying to fix yourself first, like your mental health, and before tackling on everything else. So, but yeah, man, I appreciate your show, and I've been following you for a while now, and it's good stuff, man. Yeah, thanks for letting me speak, and have a good one.
All right, man. You have a good day. Thank you. All right, we got 414-407 and 559 on hold. Be taking those calls, and there is still time to call on the show if you'd like to be a part of it. But yeah, if anybody does have just that $1 million idea for how we can correct where do we get people to like literally look in the mirror and say, okay. What he just said too is just like taking care of ourselves, because the change really does start with us. And I've had that thought just nonstop for the last decade, where I've really been trying to get out a message and wake people up and change something. Because my whole life people have been saying, Zach, you can't do anything about this world. It's fucked. I mean, a lot of that attitude. I do not want to adopt that attitude. I know where people are coming from, but I always see like it wasn't always this way. It became this way because there's a cabal, as we know, that's literally manipulating humanity and purposely destroying it, and we see where we are at this point in the game. But yeah, I do think it can be undone. I just think it's very difficult. And then sometimes, like the way I feel right now is I put over a decade in, right? Like I literally gave up all of my 30s. I'm here into my 40s. It's been very costly. It's cost me in all kinds of ways. I lost a business, property destruction, friends, family, not able to work in my profession anymore. I mean, it's just like so many expenses to do this. And then in a way it kind of feels like I'm annoyed with myself last night that I even went on that debate, because the guy was a moron in 2017. He's even dumber now. And it's the same shit. But what also just kind of grates me is watching how much funding there is behind that. How much funding there is for just totally bullshitting people and coming with nothing but bullshit and more bullshit and just lying. It's like you can't even be serious. Hold on, you just lost the argument, so now your argument is that I can't make the argument because I don't own a telescope, but you do? It's like arguing with like a 2-year-old. It's like, this is a man? This is an adult? He's got men in the chat giving him flame emojis? Yeah, bro, you owned him. He doesn't own a telescope himself. It's just like, again, it's why just knowing what humanity is from speaking out for all of my adult life. I've been speaking out since 9/11 happened in 2001. My perspective of humanity overall just has not changed. It's only become more cemented that most people just suck. And like in a way, I'd kind of snicker like if I was in a bunker someday and humanity got wasted. I'd feel bad for all the children, of course. I'd feel terrible, actually. But most people, I'd think in my mind, well, most of the adults that went, those people needed to fucking go, man. Too bad we couldn't have got all the kids in the bunker. But, yeah, people do suck. Can they be changed? Or, again, does Georgia Guidestone's agenda, March 22nd, does it need to be fulfilled? Let's go out to some more callers. 414.
Yo.
Yeah, what's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, this gear is the one you just blocked in the chat. You said I was scared to call in and all that, right?
Now, I don't know who you are. What are you calling in about?
Okay, yeah, so you just addressed me in the chat. I'm the one who said something about you. You be on here basically disrespecting your mom and all that, so why would you speak to other people respectfully?
Yeah, and I responded to that comment. Did you hear what I said?
You said what?
And I responded to your comment in the chat already.
Yeah, I heard you, and you said I was scared to call in. So this is me calling in. Basically, what's funny about that is that there's no reason to be scared to call in when you came here to Milwaukee, to Marquette, I actually went out there to meet up with you, you know what I'm saying? So there's no reason to be scared to call in when I met you face to face or whatever. But the reason I say that, right, because I hear you go on all these rants, right? You basically just saying how flat earthers get all this support, right? Well, maybe you would get more support. Maybe you wouldn't have lost so much support if you would talk to people more respectfully, right? Because
Hold on. No, stop. Again, we're not going to do this because if you watched last night on Bro Sanchez, I was nice the whole time. What did they do once they kicked me off the show? They started talking all this shit, and it just reminded me what the whole flat earth has been the whole time. It's just like when it first came around in 2015, I was always patient. I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's fine. You can think that. But then they just start attacking and trolling and making videos and calling you a NASA shill. And it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with this community? Like, why am I being attacked by flat earthers because I don't agree that the earth is flat when the fucking model makes zero sense and there is no model? Again, flat earthers need to understand, there's no model. A model it has predictive power. There's no flat earth model that has any predictive power or can explain anything that is observed from Earth about the skies, the sun, and the moon. So, again, there was a time that I was very respectable. And since you came out to Marquette, did we have a problem when you came out in person?
No, we didn't have a problem. Like I said, I believe in, well, I know Gematria is true, right? So there was no reason to have no smoke with you. I've been watching you for over basically a decade now, you know what I'm saying? I've been watching you for a minute. So there was no smoke. But my reason in saying that is that you for some reason you got offended by that comment when there was none but truth in that comment. You yourself, you do this publicly, so you shouldn't have a problem with me pointing that out, right?
But it's just an obvious trollish, baitish comment. And I mean, I've explained a million times why I talk about, my relationship with my mom and the way I do. I don't see it as disrespectful, honestly. I just see it as honest.
No, so the thing is, I wasn't being a troll in doing that, right? My thing is you got people who subscribe to Gematria who also believe in flat Earth. So when you go on rants about how all flat earthers are retards and they need to be taken out. And
so hold on. I understand I could be nicer about it. I've explained why I'm not, because the flat Earth community is a bunch of fucking losers and assholes, and they've shown that in spades, and they showed it again last night. Last night was another classic example. So again, you start casting 1,000 stones, expect 1,000 stones back. And also, is what I'm saying not true? I mean, show me a flat earther who's not a fucking retard. I don't think you can show me that, because they are. And that might be mean and insulting, but again, to think the earth is flat, you got to be a special kind of fucking dumb. And that is a fact. If people can't handle that, that's too bad. I mean, there's a lot of dumb people that are just kind of dopey and fluoridated and, just mild-mannered and don't have a real opinion or anything and don't have any real emotional response to anything because they're kind of just like a dumb, fat, aloof person, like a typical American going around ready for their next soda, hamburger, Thursday night TV show. Again, I'm not one of these people. I'm fed up with how pathetic humanity is, and rightfully so in my opinion. It might not resonate with a lot of people, but at the same time, I'm probably one of the only people on YouTube who brought a meaningful message based in evidence and truth and showed what the fuck was going on. I mean, who else can you say that's been here for the last decade? You can't say that about any flat earther. All they did was bullshit people and steal their money and time.
Well, again, I don't think flat Earth is that big of a focus. I don't think as many people believe in flat Earth as you think it does.
I will argue that more people believe in a Jesus is gonna come back and save them and stuff like that. But I don't think it would be a good idea or a productive idea to come out here and be banging on Christians all day. You know what I'm saying?
But again, I don't really bang on Christians all day. But again, these are the communities who've trolled and attacked me and cast all the first stones. Always getting attacked by flat earthers and Christians has been what I've been dealing with since I got here. And I didn't respond to any of the bullshit for a long time, but then finally I just got fed up. And again, last night was another example of why I am rightfully fed up. I mean, it's not fun being ridiculed by really dumb fucking people. When you have an IQ that's twice somebody's and that person's too fucking retarded to see what they actually are, like pretty much everyone on that Flat Earth panel last night, again, it's infuriating. And again, I mean, there's also a thing, if you guys don't realize, if you could read, there's all kinds of articles about it. Typically, more intelligent people are not very nice people. And there's a reason for that, because it's not fun being intelligent and living in a society of really dumb people. And do we not live in a society of really dumb people? Should I not call it, should I lie about it and act like people are smart here and they're competent and they know what's going on and they're well-researched and they're intelligent and they're critical thinkers? Should we just pretend the world's something other than what it is? What made you come out to Milwaukee anyway? I was ranting about flat earthers in 2015 and 2016 like this, so why'd you come out to Milwaukee in 2022?
Again, because I know Gematria's truth. I've been following Gematria and doing Gematria for longer than I've heard about the flat earth. Another thing, I've never claimed to be a flat earther, so you speaking against flat earth wouldn't stop me. And again, like I said before, you have people who believe in both, who subscribe to both Gematria and flat earth. So I don't know. But let me ask you this: flat earthers getting so much support. If you have Gematria on your side, couldn't you just get the money by doing sports bets instead of rambling about how flat earthers get so much support?
So again, this is another question that gets asked by people who can't think things through all the way. So your argument is I should move down to Vegas and just do sports all the time and then finance everything myself, put out all the knowledge, do all the work, pay all the bills to help people out, right? This is the same. See, it's just such a loser mentality to even ask this question. And I'm gonna be honest and tell it to you just like that. It's a loser mentality. What do I ask people to do? I say pledge $1 a month so that we can have support from a big network of people, because we're all getting fucked over in America. And honestly, in the last decade since you've been following for 10 years, have you seen anyone on Earth be more dedicated and expose how corrupt our government is and how it's fucking us and why it needs to be stopped?
Well, I would say that a loser mentality is thinking that money that's going to other people should be going to you, which you've said countless of times. And that's not the point. The point. I'm sorry, man. I'm moving on to the next caller. All right, I'm sorry. Again, you guys, he has the idea. Here, I'm going to make a couple points too, and people might listen. The thing about you can't criticize your parents, that's a bullshit ideal from the get, right? And I understand he's a black male, and a lot of black men don't have a father, and they're raised by their mother or their grandmother, because that's the way it is in the black community, because that community's been destroyed. It's kind of like Gaza, how there's no men hardly left over there. They've been destroyed for one way or another. Very similar in the black community, so a lot of sympathy towards mothers and grandmothers. You know, they got all the respect in the community, all the clout. When I was out in Buffalo educating about this, it was a grandmother who tried to chase me off the block. She said, all we need here now is Jesus. We don't need to know about any of this. And again, that's just a reminder too of like how backwards it is. Women aren't supposed to be leading communities. There's a reason that men are given the qualities of a person that are more dominant. And it's not that men are supposed to dominate women, but men are given the faculties to be the real leaders.
Of course, every man has a good woman behind him. That there's a man and woman relationship. But every time I've heard a comment like that, it's like all the guys who cry about the way that I talk about my mom, they're all black males, and I get it, because it's a cultural thing. They don't have dads. It's all about the mom. And that's also part of the reason the community stays destroyed. And a lot of black men grow up and father children with, multiple women, and then there's no dad in their house, and they think that's all normal. It's not. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Okay? But then also the rest of that, it's just, I get tired of listening to this bullshit. He's like, oh, so just give all the money. Dude, I've been out here spending my money every single day, every single month to host community websites so that people can organize and network and share information and not be censored. Do you know how much money I've spent since I first put up that? First went up at the end of 2016 and it actually got destroyed by a flat earth crew. But then we finally got it back up in 2018. Again, was there anybody else out at the foot of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on March 13th, 2020, giving out $2,500 in merchandise to get a crowd of people out there so that we could make a scene in front of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation about Event 201? And then that weekend, it did go viral. Again, I put a lot back into this community. I've lost a lot to do this work. And then I have guys like him calling in, crying about donating $1. I mean, fuck you, man. I don't need dumb fucking people. I don't feel like he called in and made one good point, crying about how I honestly talk about the sad relationship I have with my mom, because a lot of people do. I speak about it also not only for my own benefit, but so other people can realize that they're not alone. A lot of us are going through the same things. And then just the same fucking dumb troll argument, well, why don't you just finance it all yourself and do everything? Like, what? Why aren't there people working together and helping? So anyway, fuck that last caller and anybody else with that mindset. Please don't come out to my events in the future. I don't even know why you were out there in the first place. Probably another one of these troll shill agents is hanging around thinking about instigating. Fuck out of here. God. Ugh. People suck, man. Just so many people are trash. I can't remember what caller that was. I think it was 414. Let's go out to 407.
Yeah, what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, so the question being, how do we, stop this cycle, or how do we start to improve? I think we gotta deploy the same tactic that the cabal uses, and this is programming. They start from very young age. They start with the kids. We see now with like TV, cartoons, TikTok, everything that they have in place is to start the programming early, so that once they get to the age, of adulthood, which is, 18, 19, 20, 21, once they get there, they're pretty much set on, their beliefs. So it's hard to come back from there. So, the thing we have to do is, a few callers ago, someone mentioned you have to start with yourself. And that's true. Start with yourself, start with your children, start with, kids that you know. Because when people are children, that's when they're most susceptible to retaining information and to, building their own values. So, you can try on adults, and, the best you could do is try your best, provide them the information, provide them the facts, which is what you do every day. And then from that point, there's not much else you could do to change their perspective. I know for me, what changes my mind is when I see new information that could possibly change my prior thoughts. If it makes sense and, I go back and I do my own research and confirm things, if it's different from what I already knew, then it's time to change my perspective because there's new information. This is the basis of logic. You get new information, you change your perspective.
Exactly.
And this is hard for a lot of people who have been programmed since day one. Yeah. So the solution to this, and to me, it might not be the only solution, but it's the best solution, is you have to start with children, at the lowest level where they're developing their brain. So, what do you think about that?
Absolutely correct. That's a big concept in the First Amendment, too, and why the news media is protected, because they understood it. If people do not have good information, then they cannot make informed decisions, and then you cannot have a proper society. And you look at America now, it's like there is no good information. It's all propaganda. It's all controlled. It's all agenda-based. And then when people are confronted with new information, then they're just so hard-headed and they're like, well, I already decided what I think and believe, and I'm just gonna stay right over here right now. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're trying to figure out how to undo, because as long as it stays this way, we're just a herd being driven to the cliff.
Yeah, and another thing is that a lot of people who have, people that are set in their ways, even if they do receive new information that makes sense to them, a lot of people still disregard that just because they don't want to go against the grain, They don't want to seem like an outcast. And that's another problem that there is, because people that know what's true, they'll still go against that, whether it's to, keep their bottom line, getting paid, or, they don't want to create any ruckus, they don't want this person to stop liking them, that person to stop liking them. And they just go with the grain just because of those reasons. And this is where it comes in, like adults, a lot of people are, they're stuck in their ways. Like this information I've showed my parents a few times, and I've showed my siblings. They do look at it in, they give me a chance because I'm related to them. They give me a chance, they listen to it. But a lot of the times, they just listen to it and then they throw it to the side, like, okay, yeah, this doesn't really matter. Let me get back to my life. Let me get back to what I'm doing. And this is the same thing with my friend group that I have. Like, I don't have many friends, maybe I have a close group of maybe 5 people that I talk to daily. And then, of course, I have other friends that, every now and then we meet up. But I have a close group, and we have like a group chat. And a lot of these guys, they're sports fans. I'm in Florida. These people are like Orlando Magic fans. One of them is a Dallas Mavericks fan. I'm giving them, the things that you teach us, why this team won, why that team lost. And whenever I bring it up, the chat just goes silent. Like no one says anything. And they don't, like, I don't know what happens. It's like the cognitive dissonance kicks in. And then there was a time recently where I showed them where I put, let's say, like $5 on something. Oh yeah, I put $5 on Paulo Banchero to score exactly 27 points, and that came through. I put that in the chat, and I was like, oh, look, I gave him the information. This is how I predicted how many points he would score. And then people replied, oh, wow, I should have done that too. You should have told me that. I'm like, I've been showing you guys this stuff for like the past year, and no one listens until I bring up money. So, I mean, that just shows you what people are thinking about,
Yeah, money controls all things, absolutely. And I mean, you just see that just all the critics too, they always come back to just the same ideas, and it's just like, yeah, humanity's under one giant hive mind, really. That's why almost everyone has the same thoughts, ideas, excuses, goes along with the same bullshit, dismisses the truth. It's really irritating to witness and watch, but there's got to be a way to break it somehow. So that will remain the mission.
Yeah, and I'll just close out with this that I said earlier. I mean, a lot of people are stuck in their ways. I feel like you can do your due diligence, provide the information and show the facts. And from there, it's up to the adult to make their own decisions. You can't make their decision for them. So to me, these people, they're not worth like people like Flat Earth. Like to me, if the Earth is flat, okay, I don't care. If it's a globe, I don't care. But the shape, how does that change anything that's happening? The shape of the Earth. It's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
So it's not worth spending any time on.
The sun's still going to rise and set.
The people who are like say that the Earth is flat. Yeah, the people who say the Earth is flat, okay, good, it's flat. Good for you. What is that doing for you? Is that improving your life in any way? No. So I mean, to me, it's a waste of time. I know you do it to address a lot of the people who attack you, which is understandable. But I mean, the main thing is we have to start when people are young. And it's good that you're doing the children's books. I don't know how many children still read. Everyone has an iPad or a phone now at age, like 5 or 6 years old. But we got to start and find a way to get the information to children because, I mean, I think that's the only way that things will really start to change. And the thing that the quote that they say, the kids are the future, I mean, that's the truth. And that's why we see the cabal that uses that really infects everything that children do now. I mean, the food, you got kids wanting Happy Meals from McDonald's, the television, every kid's show is incorporating some gay character now. And, things are on the downhill. So that's all I wanted to add to the show today. But yeah, I'll keep listening.
All right, man. Well, I'm glad you found the work. You've been a breath of fresh air since you came to the community. So I'm glad you found it in the age of suppression. Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
All right, take care. Yeah, he's only been here for a little while, and he's made a lot of great contributions. Shoot, hit the wrong. I'll come back to you, 559. There's one person in front of you. Let's go out to 708.
Hey, Zach, what's up?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, did you hear about the Lakers player Darius Morris dying?
Yeah, we covered it like a week ago.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of interesting things I noticed about that in that same. It was all these numbers showing up in that reduction cipher. Like, of course, he has the connection to Kobe, but like, cause he played with him in the Lakers, he also played for Philadelphia, where Kobe's from. But he was the 41st pick in the draft, and he died. You know how if you add Kobe Bean Bryant equals 54 in the same cipher that Kobe Bryant equals 41, he died exactly 54 days from the anniversary of when Freemasonry started. And at age 33, they said it was exactly 3 months after his brother and his dad had been convicted of bank fraud. And of course, bank fraud equals 33 in that cipher. And they said that he died in Greater Los Angeles, which equals 75 in that cipher. And what was it like? Yeah, 75. And I believe it was 7 weeks? That's 7 weeks, 5 days from birthday? Or he actually died from his birthday 120 days after his birthday, and his full name equals 120. And of course, he was age 33. But another thing I noticed about the NFL draft this year in the connection with Kobe, it was exactly 91 days from the anniversary of Kobe's death. And it was in Detroit, Michigan, and Detroit MI equals 113 and 58 in the same ciphers that Kobe Bryant does.
Okay.
And it was exactly 91 days from there, and Chicago Bears equals 91 in the same cipher as Detroit, of course, and the Bears had the number 1 pick. But yeah, Darius Morris, the player who died on May 2nd this year, his name without his middle name, just Darius Morris equals 65 in that reduction cipher. And of course, the 313 in Detroit area code is the 65th prime. So it just it seems like, and of course he was the 41st pick in the draft, like the age Kobe died at. So he just got like a major connection to Kobe there.
Yeah, his full name, Darius Aaron Morris, is 120, and he died 120 days after his birthday, which makes me wonder if there's a baseball connection as well, since it's the year of the 120th World Series. Of course, Kobe did die, or Kobe died, and then the Lakers and the Dodgers won the championships that year for LA in 2020. But yeah, we covered his death a while back, and you have some other good observations. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, man. You have a good day. Thank you. Let's go out to 559. What's up, 559?
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I haven't been watching you the past couple months. Last time I called you and watched you I called talking about Billy Carson and why I thought he was a great dude. But yeah, I'd say I was wrong about him. And I knew it then, I knew then that he was wrong about certain things, but I compartmentalized and looked past it because he was right about other things. But I always knew he was wrong about things like the Emerald Tablets, which was written by some dude named, I don't even think this is his real name, Maurice Doreal, who just sat in an occult library and made his fiction based off all that. But anyway,
here, just about that, just about what you just said. I just want to interject real quick. You guys, information is only really useful if it's actionable, which means you can do something with it. And dummies will come here and they'll be like, what can you do with this? And meanwhile, like if they would have just had an attention span and made it 10 minutes in the video, they probably would have learned at least one thing they could do with it. Like how we had the best Bitcoin prediction in the world again, and had people taken my advice, they could have saved bundles because we had it nailed down why Bitcoin was going to be at 72,000 by the 72nd day of the year and why it'd be a good time to cash out your profits. Because when it hits these major Bitcoin Jesuit milestones, it comes down every time. But then all the dummies were like, nah, bruh, it's going up to 150, bruh. Nope. Right again was I. And again, I mean, nobody in the truth community saw how Biden was going in there as number 46. We're pretty much the only people who saw that one coming. We saw Trump before anybody did in the election before that. We've seen that Trump was going to be the candidate in this one. And people have been saying I was wrong for 3 years that he'd even be the candidate. Nope. Again, we called out so many stories before they happened. We saw COVID before it came. We nailed every prediction about COVID. Again, this information allows you to take advantage of the rig system, not get played by the rig system, make something back off the rig system. You can use it in the market, crypto, sports. Again, this knowledge is super actionable. That's why all these people spending all this time just on all this bullshit, including flat earth, a total fucking waste of time. This is why we have a dumb populace, because they cannot discern like why this information that I've been putting out for a decade is superior to all the bullshit they're talking about. Now, the Emerald tablets and all that ancient information, there is something to know about that. I wouldn't discount that so much, but still, there's not as much actionable information in knowing about those things. I'm just amazed at how people are so into all this stuff that they really can't do anything with. When I'm showing you day in and day out how you can use this knowledge to get ahead. And go ahead, though. You want to finish your point about Billy Carson.
Well, I was going to go on to another point, but about the Emerald tablet, there's a difference between the Emerald tablet and the Emerald tablets with an S.
Oh.
And the latter is the one Billy goes on about the latter.
I
the
see.
real Emerald tablet was written by a real dude, Hermes Trismegistus.
Right.
I think like
yes,
3,000.
He has 100 different names, but Thoth is another one. Yeah, I wrote about the Emerald tablet in my first book. So okay, good distinction. I didn't realize that the tablets was something different. So I'm listening.
Yeah, that's the one written by Dorial, who sat in that occult library in the 20s, I think, when he wrote it about 100 years ago. But the Emerald tablet does have things that are applicable in people's lives, because that's where Hermeticism comes from, which if people took the Hermetic principles a bit more seriously and looked into those, you know, that could be a way that people could improve themselves on an individual level. But most people, I don't even think, are aware of them, or if they are, they're too blinded by their religion or maybe even science to look into such archaic things. But I was going to go on about what you talked about, the $1 million question, which is the answer of how we can change ourselves. And, you know, the guy who's been talking about that, I think since 2007 now, has been Mark Passio. He pretty much does have the answer, and it's basically knowing and understanding and adhering to natural law. And as long as we disobey natural law, things are only going to continue to go down a negative path.
Yeah.
And he, you know, I know you have some words to say about him, but lately he's been getting mad. Well, lately.
Well, he's been getting mad for a long time. No,
he's been getting mad about.
He's been getting mad for a long time now. He's almost too mad, but like people think I'm too mad. You should see Mark Passio. He's too mad, and he's going on the same. He's getting triggered each week just about how people can't send the package right, so he can send them the ARC hard drive. But the thing about Mark Passio, though, is again, talks a lot, shares good information, but then just absent. And he also disappeared in the time of COVID. I mean, he skipped like the whole first year and a half of COVID, his longest break ever. Again, Jesuit educated as Mark Passio, former priest in the Church of Satan. Only took my phone call one time and took it in episode 201. I think there's a little sick joke to that. But the thing about Mark Passio is he can talk about natural law all day, but he doesn't emulate natural law. He emulates a satanic egomaniac. That's all every broadcast about, is how he's the greatest. He's the greatest ever. Everything he's doing is the greatest. I actually read something about how natural law is actually at the heart of the satanic doctrine too, which I need to do more research on. It would actually make sense in light of his background being a Jesuit, because we all know the Church of Satan was established in a big Jesuit ritual. So it makes sense that this guy goes from Jesuit educated in Philadelphia, the land of the synagogue of Satan, to a priest in the Church of Satan, to now a guy on YouTube who talks a good game, but then doesn't emulate anything he talks about, and is a total egomaniac who doesn't collaborate with anybody and disappears. And again, I mean, he's been here since 2010, but disappeared in the most crucial moment of speaking out in the nation in the time of COVID. I mean, that's mad suspect. So.
I didn't know that about natural law being a core tenet to the satanic.
Yeah, again, I need to do more research on that, but that was something that came across my plate, and I was looking, I was like, well, God, is that true? Because Mark Passio is the satanic priest who only talks natural law, but then doesn't emulate anything he talks about. I mean, imagine if the whole world was Mark Passio. Wouldn't it be the shittiest place ever? I mean, like, literally, if you guys don't know Mark Passio, all he does is talk about how great he is. He's like worse than Donald Trump, and just everyone else fucking sucks. And he won't collaborate. He's always like, we're like, he pretends like he's the only person in the world speaking out. And it's just annoying as fuck, dude. It's like, God, get over yourself, dude. And at the end of the day, also, here's the other thing I'll say about natural law. It is true. Essentially, natural law boils down to, if you go out in the world and put out good intentions and good energy and do the right things and help people, your world's going to be better. If you go out and do the opposite, your world's going to be shittier. I mean, that's essentially what natural law boils down to. So it's a really basic concept at the end of the day. It's like tying your shoes. But yeah, I do like a lot of Mark Passio's lectures, especially his older ones. It's just, I don't trust that guy for a second.
90 seconds.
Go ahead. It's not going to cut you off.
Well, no, I get it. I get why you probably wouldn't trust him. You know, one of the things he says is, if you look into the eyes are the window to the soul, and that'll tell you a lot about the person. When I look into his eyes, they look a bit menacing and malice.
Yeah. I don't think Mark. I'll remind people what happened to Mark Passio's wife, Barb. Again, it was a curious day. Mark Passio's trip to Alex Jones was by the numbers as well. And then, if you guys have ever seen Mark Passio and Alex Jones, he acts like a whole different person. He acts like a little pussy. He doesn't act like the big tough guy. He just bows down to all Alex's bullshit. That's how you can also kind of see that Mark Passio's a fraud. If I got on Alex Jones' show, I would never totally alter my message and just bow down to Alex Jones, but that's what Mark Passio does. Hold on, let me find this thing about his ex-Barb.
He did kind of do that.
Yeah, let me find the passing of his ex, because I find it. Oh yeah, that's right. Mark Passio got me kicked out of Anarchadelphia too. That's right. Let's see. I can't find the post right now. Go ahead while I look for the post. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, maybe these guys like Mark Passio and Billy Carson, maybe they are gatekeepers. And they probably do, or in fact, I'm sure they do know a lot more than what they let on. But they still let out quite a lot of good information that I don't think we could totally discredit just because they're potential gatekeepers or are gatekeepers.
Yeah, again,
I don't know.
Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, so. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Just to remind people, Mark Passio's wife died on the kill date in 2020, February 22nd, 2020. I mean, some people are going to die naturally on this day, but she wasn't very old. And a lot of this guy bragging about how Anton LaVey, who went out by the Jesuit code, handpicked him. His Jesuit upbringing, we know who's doing this. Yeah, and if you guys don't know, even Mark Passio's name, 122 and 67, just like the word satanic. Like the Church of Satan, founded on the 122nd Meridian in San Francisco. And then Barbara Passio also just happens to be 122. It's just interesting. So,
Well, I think despite all that, he still probably does hold the answer to what you call the $1 million question.
Somebody in the
Because
chat.
if people did actually do that, if people were moral and understand morality, there wouldn't be nearly as much bad things going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think really is that simple.
Oh, I mean, essentially natural law boils down to the golden rule: treat other people the way you want to be treated. Somebody in the chat wanted you to clarify why you don't. Somebody asked you in the chat why you don't think Billy Carson is legitimate. What's got you thinking maybe he's not?
Well, like I said, his biggest seller is the Emerald Tablets, or the compendium of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean priest, but that doesn't even exist. Like I said, it was written by a dude named Maurice Doreal, or that's his pen name, in the 1920s in some occult library in Colorado. And that's one of his biggest selling points. He also goes on about, I think he's one of these people who dates Atlantis to 10 or 12,000 BC. That's a load of crap, because Atlantis is just the sea people, and they go back to the Trojan War in the 13 and 1200s BC, because they want to make you think that history, recorded history, goes back all these tens of thousands of years, and that's just not true. It's ridiculous, and I used to fall for it, but it's just not true. So Billy Carson, while he does say a lot of good things, like he had one video where he put out about the Jehovah's Witnesses. There was a lot of factual information in there that was good and that I think could benefit those people. But when he goes on about other things, it's gatekeeping, because you let out some truths and then you let out a bunch of crap that they probably know is crap. Because that dude sits around and reads these tablets all day, and I don't see how he could come to the conclusion that a star, I think they say the Sumerian star is like 3,600 years. And that's how they measure time. And when you actually look at it, a star is a day. One day. So when they go on things like that, it's just obvious they're wrong. And since they look at this information all day, people like Billy Carson and Graham Hancock too, and others.
Again, just to summarize what these people do, this is my perspective on it. Like, I've always said the same thing. I feel like we live in a burning house right now. So what we have to do is put out the fire and then make sure another fire like this never happens again. And it's like other people who realize the house is burning, they're like, well, the house is burning, but you know what? I think I'm going to spend my time looking into the flat earth or arguing about, does time really go back to this year rather than this year? And I'm just like, what do you do with this information? How is this going to help us right now? Where does this information help us? And then people come to me and they don't understand how the information I'm putting out helps us. And I just see it all as just people are just too dumb. So anyway, man, I appreciate the call and the feedback, and we'll keep an open mind about Billy Carson. Some people in the chat obviously like him. So I know a while back you thought he was all right. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but we'll keep an eye. I do appreciate the update.
I'll just say I don't need to completely discredit him, but him and Mark Passio, they have some red flags. I'll just say that, but they do have a lot of good stuff.
Sure. All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, later.
Yeah, take care. All right. 470, you're up next.
Yeah, it's Jay.
Oh, what's up, man?
You hear me, right?
Yeah, what's up, Jay?
Yeah, I just wanted to call in. I'm not gonna be on there for too long, but honestly, like, I don't even like. I think what happens is that it's just like people have to like something like I ain't gonna lie. Like, I honestly think that the only way for people to even like, I think it just has to be something like catastrophic. Honestly, like that's the closest thing I can think of. Like, even though we've already had that to a degree, but I think like everybody has to change. Something has to happen that makes people change on a personal level, and then it will like naturally lead to a better environment. If you get what I'm saying.
I do. Yeah.
The question is what? Maybe it's sickness. Maybe if because this is my situation where it was that's what made me pay more attention and focus on things a bit more. Maybe I know that does that to a lot of people, but then it's like I think that, and I'm like, well, maybe that might be the case, but then you also got people that also get these same diseases, these same situations, and then they still don't want to change or do anything. It's like their addiction is just too much. Like they just that's the problem. It's like the food, like it's not even food. It's like it's literally just drugs. Like people know what it's doing, and it's like I don't even understand like why people. Well, obviously I understand it because they haven't. The same emphasis has been placed on all these other things, heroin, meth, cigarettes. It's not placed on the shit that's in the store, the shit that's in the gas station. The shit that's in the vending machines, even though those foods literally are literally made to be addictive. They're chemically altered to be addictive. And I've said this a million times already. I mean, I'm not gonna like repeat myself too much, but when the problem is that they have people addicted to everything that is slowly killing them, and then the culture is just like, oh well, if you don't do these things, you're weird. You don't do this. And like you said, like what you were saying, like a lot of people are not even gonna do shit because they don't even want to go against the grain. They don't want to be looked at as the outcast. But I mean, I've been an outcast my whole life, so I really don't give a fuck. It's funny because it's like people like if you tell somebody you don't vote, or if you tell somebody like this, like you don't do this, they'll look at you like, oh, you don't have the right to complain about anything. And it's like, motherfucker, these same niggas drink out of fucking plastic Coca-Cola fucking bottles, even though Coca-Cola is literally like one of the biggest factors in fucking plastic pollution with all this plastic that they're dumping into the and it's just like I literally do everything I can, even while being on a budget, to try and support local at people that are on my same level, businesses. Like I try not to support big corporations, McDonald's, I try to buy shit from farmers. I try to get locked in with farmers and all that other stuff. And it's like people don't even take the time to do that shit. People don't even take they don't even want to put in the energy to do that because it's not what they're comfortable doing. It's just they just want to keep doing what they've been stuck. They just want to stay stuck in doing what the fuck they've been doing their whole lives, and that's the problem. It's just the first one to the mind really is the winner, and it's like I honestly don't see shit happening on a big enough scale to wake people up because it's just people. It's just ridiculous. It's like people a lot of people just want to stay ignorant. A lot of people have they're confidently wrong about a lot of shit. Like I remember being in fucking I was talking a couple weeks back. I was having a conversation with a couple of people, and they were like, "Oh, fucking 9/11." The people who think 9/11 is fake is the dumbest fucking conspiracy. Why would the government attack its own people? And I'm just like, it's just, and they didn't even know anything. A lot of people don't even remember that there was a third building that fell. They didn't even know Osama was a product of a fucking CIA. They didn't know about the simulation they did. It's just a lot of people are ignorant about a lot of stuff. All they do is pay attention to what they see on the mainstream. And then if you try to present them information, they're not even going to look at it, even if it's undeniable. If somebody looked at your page and you showed them everything, they still wouldn't. It's just because of programming, they still wouldn't even fucking take it serious because, you're not the fucking mainstream. people got, and you see the shit that's coming out about people and, oh, the fucking pedophile rings and all that other shit. It's like, people wait for shit to be presented on the mainstream before they ever take it serious or look at it as legitimate. And that's like just one of the biggest problems. It's like, people don't ever do enough research about anything themselves, and they automatically appeal to authority. It's like, how many fucking times, like, have you tried to tell somebody some shit about health or anything, and then people automatically look at you as like, well, you're not a doctor. I'm like, that doesn't change what the fuck, like, that's not an argument to what I just said. Like, that doesn't change anything about what I said. It's like, they gotta hear it from authority. They gotta hear it from, they get in the lab coat. They gotta hear it from a motherfucker on TV.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head. That they're programmed and they're only listening to certain authorities that they've been programmed to listen to, and it's a major problem.
And it's, as long as it's like that, I mean, I honestly just don't know like what it is. Like, I know you're asking, like, you know, people are listening to stuff, but I honestly, like, people keep arguing about like the shape of the earth and all this other bullshit. It's just like, bro, the earth, I keep telling people this. I've been telling people this for years. The earth is not round. The earth is not flat. It's fucked. It's fucked. Niggas keep arguing about like this. I'm like, bro, it's the soil is constantly being depleted, more and more depleted. Yeah. We can't even get as much nutrients out of the stuff that we growing.
Well, but hold on. The reason that's true is because these industrial,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying the reason that you're right. Absolutely. Before I knew about Gematria, I was really concerned with food and nutrition, and I read all kinds of books about just the destruction of the soil and how these factory farms are still growing out of that soil. But the difference is now there's no nutrients left in it. They've been destroyed with all the pesticides and just poor practices from these massive industries. Exactly. But now we get all this food that kind of looks like our ancestors' food, but it's missing all of the essential minerals and just things that made humanity healthy once upon a time. There's a reason that we're more susceptible to disease and illness. Our food is not the same medicine it used to be. And exactly, Jay, that's why I appreciate you as a young guy, because you're one of the rare ones that has a brain that actually works. And that's why you're an outcast, too, for that in this world. That's why this world is so infuriating for intelligent people.
Frustrating.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like how many, well, yeah, because it's like how many, that's why I said, like, it's frustrating, because it's like you were saying, like, if you could hide out in a bunker and during Fallout, you will feel bad for the kids, but you wouldn't feel bad for most of the fucking adults. Most of the fucking adults are sorry as hell. And most of the adults, they just making poor ass decisions, and it's gonna affect the kids. Like, and a lot of the people in these companies, I mean, it's like, how many people are now getting sick because of what they may be exposed to through the environment? I mean, they say, like, stuff, a lot of autoimmune diseases, but again, it's just stuff that's being carried down from shit that people were still exposed to through the environment that is causing these changes in people's DNA. How many mothers can't even, like me, for example, one of the reasons that I have a really bad stomach and I have really bad, slow, like, gut motility, and when my body struggles to, like, I have like IBS and all that, it leads back to me not even being breastfed as a fucking kid. And I was completely ignorant about I didn't even know that until I started studying holistic health, that if you are not fed breast milk as a kid, if you're not fed breast milk as a kid, you will lack prebiotics. And you need prebiotics to have probiotics to be able to break down shit in order to digest it. And how many children do you know that aren't even being breastfed?
A lot. It's marketed to just have formula now.
And then after that, it's some bullshit chemical formula that they bought out the store. It's so infuriating when you look at it, because the purpose, honestly, I talk all this stuff about what people now can do to take care of their health and stuff like that, but what a baby is fed during development, that will always be the most important part of everything, because that's literally the building blocks. That's literally what their development. It's like, that's literally the most important. If that shit gets compromised, nothing else is ever going to be able to be 100. Nothing is ever going to be 100%. It doesn't even matter how clean your diet is. Your child is going to suffer because they didn't even get what they needed at the most important part. They're going to have to be so meticulous about everything. Like, and just to have an easy life. And it's like, how many kids' life are gonna be fucked up because of what pregnant women are exposed to, not even on purpose. The shit that's in the air, it's like in my home, and it's just like I try to educate my family about the fucking like air fresheners and all these toxic chemicals and sprays, and they have air fresheners and all throughout the house, and it's just like people don't even realize that all that stuff is literally like, people make fun of people who smoke cigarettes. They don't even realize that they're doing the same shit when they douse themselves in perfumes. When they douse themselves, I used to be one of them niggas that wore cologne all the time until I educated myself about what the fuck cologne actually is. It's all these synthetic chemicals, all these synthetic chemicals, fragrances to make it smell a certain way. And it's literally just as harmful. If anything, it's more harmful. I say it's more harmful than cigarettes, because you can walk into a store and choose not to smoke a cigarette. And because the emphasis is placed on cigarettes, everybody knows, okay, I'm not going to do this shit. But there's no emphasis yet placed on these air fresheners, these colognes, these perfumes, the makeups, the nail polish. Bro, I've done so much research about all of the toxic, like, chemicals that are actually, like, linked to fucking cancer that people just put on themselves. And none of it is necessary. And girls get mad when I tell them, like, yo, I don't like makeup. Like, first off, it's literally fake as hell. I don't like fake ass shit. And it's just like, there's no need for it. There's no need for it. It's like, where did all this shit come from? How do we get brainwashed into believing that we need all this shit? Like, it just doesn't, like, when you actually, like, take a step back and realize and dissect everything, it's like, you really start to wonder, it's like, how the fuck did we even get here? Because it's just so ridiculous. It's like, I'm really in the twilight zone with this shit. I'm really in the twilight zone. Do you tell people this stuff? I'm still gonna wear my fucking perfume. I told females that, I'm still gonna wear my perfume. They don't care. Like, they don't care. Like, people just don't care. Even if you prove them wrong, even if you show them the evidence, they don't even give a. It's like they just don't care. They don't care.
You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct.
People have to go through something that makes them care.
Yeah. I like what you just said about makeup, too. My sweet lady, very rarely will she put makeup on. It has to be a big occasion. But, yeah, she knows that it's better for her face to just not even have all that. I remember when my sister was growing up, there was all this marketing for Clinique, this brand Clinique. I think they still make all these facial products. But then it came out like in the early 2000s that the Clinique stuff was really bad for your skin, all these harmful chemicals, and it's been exposed about all these other brands. But there's so many people that are buying so many products to put on their face. Again, our world is just oversaturated with chemicals that were not meant to be put on our bodies. But consumerism has normalized it, and then all you needed was a government to say, oh yeah, it's safe. It's safe even though they know it's not safe. And again, that's this whole indoctrination thing. People look into these authorities that lie to them all the time, and pretty much this whole thing's just being run by like one big business, and we're being treated like tax cattle and consumer cattle, and we're led into purchasing all these products that shouldn't ever touch our body on the outside or the inside, but they've all been sanctioned by government, and they're all FDA approved. And this is what we have to wake people up to. We've been lied to. We're being poisoned. It's just so obvious.
They're gonna say it's safe because it's gonna take some time to kill you. Anything that doesn't kill you immediately is safe. As long as it doesn't kill you immediately, they can say it's safe. Same shit they did with cigarettes. It's like people don't even. It's just, you would think, like, especially like the older generation, like they will understand, like, the most, like, what the fuck, and it's like they be the ones that's like the most indoctrinated. But it's like, how can you live through the time of the government? I wasn't even alive when the government was telling everybody that the cigarettes were safe. I had to learn about that. But everybody in the older generation was. How can you be alive for that? See, they have them fucking come out and say, oh shit, well, this actually causes cancer. And still trust these niggas. And still listen to them same people when they tell you, oh yeah, this is safe, that is safe. How many fucking years is it going to be before the government finally comes out to tell you? Now they coming out and say, oh yeah, the sunscreen gives you cancer because it has benzene, which is a very, very bad carcinogen.
literally linked to all types of cancers. The fucking polyester in the clothes, the asbestos, the people can file lawsuits, but it's like they didn't care about this shit when they had people working in these buildings with the paint all on the walls and shit, being exposed to this shit, breathing this shit in. People still don't know about radon. And they don't even know what that is. Do you know what radon is?
What they used to put in refrigerators?
No, it's like an airborne compound that breaks down into radioactive waste when you inhale it. But the problem is that in a lot of people's houses, it's like an organic compound that comes up through the soil. So if you have like a crack in your house or some shit like that, it'll shoot through the crack in the house, and you'll breathe it in. And it's bad when you're indoors. It's not so bad when you're outdoors because radon gets displaced. But when you're in an enclosed house, most people again they don't want the window open. They don't want to let some fresh air in because they don't want to deal with bugs and all the other stuff. So the air is enclosed. Not only are they inhaling shit from the mattresses and the fucking all these the fucking furniture and all that other stuff that off gases, chemicals and shit, but they're also inhaling radon, which comes up through the fucking floor. And if you look it up, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in the U.S. It is the reason why most people that don't even smoke still get lung cancer.
Interesting. I'm just noticing on the periodic table.
They don't even have any idea about this shit.
I'm noticing on the periodic table, it's also number 86. And I'm thinking, is that an accident? Is that an accident? That's 86. Okay.
Yeah. I went surprised, and it's just like you said, like it's like you can talk people's heads off for days about this stuff, and they still just won't even like care. Like obviously, it's some things you can't do anything about, but like when it comes to shit that's been given to us, they give us this shit, and it's just like nobody cares about the future. Nobody cares. Like people have all these chronic health issues. They have all these gut issues. They can't tolerate anything because what they're being exposed to from the environment. All these rates of cancer is going up. Now you live in the U.S. They say you have a 50% chance of catching cancer. I mean, it's just ridiculous. How did it get like this? But the people who are responsible for polluting our environment, what's going to happen to them? No, they get to keep doing the same shit. Nobody does anything about it. They keep being supportive. And again, people will look at me because, you don't vote. You can't complain about anything. But motherfucker, you eat and support Chick-fil-A, mass factory farming, these industrial companies that are polluting the world, and I try to do all I can. And it's so fucking crazy because when people see me buying the certain shit and trying to buy non-toxic washing detergent because the washing detergent used in the U.S., the Dows and all that shit is literally banned because that shit is also been linked to cancer. When people see me buying stuff like that, they'll make fun of me. So, you gotta buy the organic stuff. But then these be the same people that be like, oh man, you're not voting this year? You don't have the right to complain. Nigga, you don't have the right to complain about any of this shit because you support all of these big ass companies that's not doing nothing but fucking up the environment. But if I say, hey, let's go to the farmer's market instead, let's go to a local farmer instead of Walmart. Oh no, man. People still addicted to all the junk food. They still got that's what it is. Like they don't want to work on getting clean from this shit because that's what you're doing. The same way a heroin addict got to get clean from heroin. You got to get clean from pills. You got to get clean from motherfucking this bullshit because it's not even fucking food. Y'all niggas think it's not food. Like it's some shit made in the laboratory. And then you go into the store, you think you buying a real piece of fruit. You don't even know what the fuck they did for the shit to make it look a certain way because they got to make everything look aesthetically pleasing. It's like, nigga, who gives a fuck about that shit? Does it have nutrients? Can you survive off of this shit? We fuck shit up for the stupidest reason. Everybody's fake as fuck. Everybody's fake. Talking to females in my generation is so aggravating because all these bitches they all want to wear fucking fake ass makeup. Then I tell them, You don't need that shit. They want to catch your attitude, get mad. I'm like, bro, you don't need that shit. Everybody wants to be fake. Everybody wants to wear these fake fragrances. Everybody want to wear these skin products for clear skin instead of actually focusing. Most skin problems are fucking diet related.
Absolutely.
Most people eat food that breaks them out. I used to have a really bad problem with acne as well because I kept eating foods that broke me out. I was addicted to chocolate, and that was like the number one food that would always make me break out. Stop eating the shit that makes you break out. Be responsible as a fucking person, and your skin will be really clear. Change your diet. Actually take care of yourself, and you won't smell. You won't have to wear fucking. And it's just everybody's just so addicted to faking. Everybody's so addicted to faking. It's like nobody wants to. And then you trying to tell them the truth. Oh man, you just ruined the bar. You just ruined. That's the problem. If you try to tell somebody the truth about some shit, oh, you ruining the bar. And people gonna get, I'm glad you spoke on like the shit about like mothers because like you were saying, like I don't understand why people even get because obviously I understand it because the problem is people don't know how to put themselves in other people's shoes. They always look at the situation through their perspective. And what people gotta understand is, yeah, I'm not gonna talk about my mother the way you talk about your mother because I don't have the same relationship that you have with your mother. So I can't get mad at you for having a problem with your mom when I don't even know how deep rooted the problem is. If somebody has a mom that was beating on them as a kid and neglecting them and doing all this crazy shit, then of course they're gonna have a different view of their mother than somebody whose mother took care of them. That doesn't a lot of people that are getting mad at you. They might have a good relationship with your mother, and that's why they say, "Oh man, don't say that about your mom." But they're not understanding that they don't understand the relationship they don't understand what your mom may have put you through to make you say that about her. And other people that do have that type of relationship with either parent or anybody that took care of them, they'll understand that. People, they don't know how to look outside of themselves and understand from somebody else's perspective. They just don't have that perspective. And I've been to other people's households where they didn't even have that. They mother treated them like shit, all that shit. Most of my fucking cousins, like you were talking about, like in the communities and shit like that. Most of my people that are like in my family, like that were my age that I grew up with, my grandma adopted them. They didn't have. It's so much shit that goes on. My father didn't know his father. My mother didn't know her father. It's so much like craziness, and it's just and it's just people. It's like people don't even want to acknowledge the problems, and that's the issue. Everybody wants to stay distracted. I think the only thing the reason why I say it would have to be some type of catastrophe. It would have to be something that takes away people's escape mechanism. It would have to be something along those lines. It would have to be that a food shortage, the power going out because all the people can't. It would have to be something that forces. Because the reason why everybody is so comfortable, even if you show them there's something wrong, is because they're still surrounded by all this stuff, all the dopamine, all these foods that are hyper palatable. If I don't care, they're addicted to shit. They're just addicted. Netflix is still on. Niggas can still go to fucking Pornhub and do all this other shit. Niggas can still go out to their favorite restaurant and see their favorite. All these companies work to distract us so that we don't even give a fuck about what's going on for us.
Indeed.
That shit taken away. I honestly don't even think we can change some shit.
Yeah, I hear everything you're ranting about, and a lot of people are enjoying your rant. And for people who don't know, this is Jay. He's been in the community for a long time. He's a young guy. Jay, how old are you now?
I'm 22.
22 now? Okay. Time flies, man. 22.
Yeah.
He couldn't drink when he first got here. Hey, Jay, now that you can drink...
I've seen shit.
I was going to say...
2020, since 18, I realized something was wrong.
Now that you can drink, do you drink or do you choose not to?
I used to drink before I even turned 21.
Sure,
when I turned
that's
21,
true.
I was like, no, I'm like, well, I'm not even gonna say I used to drink. I've only been drunk once. I've only been fully drunk once in my life.
That's
I
good.
never really enjoyed drinking like that. I was always a smoker. I always smoked weed. That was what I always did.
Yeah. Alcohol's a big killer too. And that's the thing too, just about having additional knowledge. You can see how they play us.
That's another thing.
They play us. Alcohol equals 33, sugar 33. They got this world saturated in alcohol and sugar, and they ended prohibition in 33. It's always been an agenda to undermine humanity by a code, to manipulate them for the sake of controlling them and exploiting them and making a profit off them. And that's what we have to see. We have to see that we're being herded like animals on the farm. And they're luring us with this sweet treat over here, with this sweet drink over here. But then the problem is, you get addicted to that, and the next thing you know, you got this diabetes and this ailment, and now your whole life's medical bills.
And then,
go ahead.
Yeah, and then people would say, "Oh, well, you know, it's good in moderation." I'm like, alcohol is not good in moderation. Alcohol is not something that you should ever put in your body. Yes, if you only drink every now and then the damage you do to your body will obviously. It won't be that big of a deal. But to say that everything is good in moderation, I hate when people say that. It's so fucking stupid because it's not something that you ever need. And again, the shit that you are buying from these people, these niggas, they don't have your best interest at hand. They are the reason for why shit is so fucked up. And another thing is that they make these foods with the intention that you don't eat them in moderation. That's why they lace them with chemicals and synthetic, with artificial MSG, with all this artificial, with all this processed sugar and processed salt to make shit hyperpalatable. They make to over-excite your taste buds, and that's why it's literally just a drug, because you really can't get enough of it. And the same shit with the alcohol. It makes you feel good. I mean, I've never even felt good from being drunk. Like, I don't even understand, like, what people even like so much about that shit. But to each their own. But my point is, they make all this stuff to make you enjoy it so that you keep coming back to the shit. You're not even meant to consume this in moderation because the chemicals and the ingredients that are in the foods, they're meant to make you addicted. So it's like most people, they try to eat this shit in moderation like I did, and they fail. Like a lot of times, it's never good to have it in your diet. So you can't be like, oh, it's good to have it in moderation. And here, are you going to say it's good for somebody to take heroin every now and then because everything is good in moderation? No, nigga, like that shit sounds stupid as fuck. A lot of this shit is never good for you. The companies that you're buying it from are fucking you. They're fucking the entire planet. Everybody wants to keep arguing about the shape of the earth. We're not even going to have a fucking planet to live on at some point because the industrialization, all these uses of harsh fertilizers and pesticides fucking up the soil. What they say, the vitamin C that you're supposed to get from lemons and fruits is being depleted. You can't even look up online how much vitamin C is in a fucking lemon or orange and go off of that anymore because each year the soil is getting more and more depleted. They say you would have had to eat almost 10 oranges just to get the same amount of vitamin C that people hundreds of years would have been able to get. It's ridiculous. So it's like, how are we supposed to live if eventually we're not even going to be able to walk outside? There's already places on the planet where you got to fucking wear a mask because you can't breathe the air because of smog and because of pollution. But nobody's doing anything about it. That's what infuriates me so much about this shit. Nobody does anything about it. There's no get back. There's no, these companies, they're fucking up the planet. But instead of getting these niggas the fuck out of here like we should be doing, let's just wear fucking masks and so we don't have to breathe in the air and let these niggas keep doing what they doing.
And hold on, Jay. Jay, on the thought, what you're talking about right now. So here we are as a nation, right? We're supposedly this democracy, and now we have our big every 4-year event where we get to choose our leader. And what's America get to focus on? You can either choose between the guy who looks like he's about to die and the guy who might be a total criminal, fraud, porn addict, whatever. Again, this is the focus that we get in America while we have all these problems, where if we were in a society where it was about information and democracy, I feel like right now we'd have like somebody saying like, well, listen, here's my big proposal to everything we're talking about right now. This is what America's really suffering from. Health ailments, nutrition, illness, disease, death. These are the real problems. There's no conversation really anywhere in the media about how to solve these problems, what to do about these epidemics. I mean, you guys, they had to lock down the nation for 2 years and end America as we knew it because of the 99.9% survival illness. But like I said back then, I said, you guys, the real pandemic in this nation is how fat the children are, how obese the children are, not to mention the adults. There's no movement anywhere to do anything about that. Again, it is maddening, but yeah, I mean, like, really, there should be a great debate about what the right solution is to solve these problems. Is it the federal government investing in local communities so that everybody can have local organic produce and people can know what kind of soil it came out of? So some mass Manhattan project to create a whole bunch of compost so that we can solve the soil problem that the nation's been under for some time now that you brought up. Again, there's no conversations about anything that really matters. Always a conversation about the latest bullshit that they gave us to fight over, like transgenderism. And it's amazing how fast they made that agenda take hold in humanity. But yeah, go ahead some more, Jay. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm about to get up, but I was just saying, like, it's like shit has to be the trend people to focus on. It's like, if only the government cared that much about fucking cancer and type 2 diabetes and like they fucking supposedly cared about COVID. My grandmother ain't died from COVID. She died from complications of type 2 diabetes. Some shit she had been dealing with for decades because motherfuckers are put in a community, they grow up in a community where there's access to nothing but pretty much shit food. And even most of the whole foods, they're not organic, so they're still sprayed with a lot of pesticides. But of course, the single ingredient foods are always more expensive than the junk food, the cheap junk food. And if she living on fucking food stamps, she don't got nobody helping her out. Of course, it's like it's always gonna be more of an incentive to keep buying that same shit. It's like, but the junk food, as you know, it's subsidized. The fucking corn, the processed, all this shit, all the bad shit, subsidized, all the bad shit. People think it's less expensive, but it's just subsidized already.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why the price tags are lower. It's just, it doesn't even, it's like, but yeah, these people supposed to care about their health. My grandmother didn't die from, she caught COVID. She survived that shit. She didn't survive type 2 diabetes. But these niggas don't give a fuck about that shit. They'll keep selling you food, all this stuff. They don't care about that shit because, again, it's all about money. That's the whole reason. I mean, come on, bro. Like, we all know how much they benefited from the vaccines and all that. Like, we all know this shit. And it's just like, it's just, I'm just tired of acting like this shit not a joke. And then everybody wants to have these, like, normal takes, like, about the pandemic, about 9/11. And then if you try to put them on something new, you try to explain something to them, like, okay, you don't think it's strange that we're dealing with this one strain of COVID, and then as soon as the vaccines come out, now all of a sudden we got these new strains. It's like, it's a new strain every week. And now, of course, now they need new vaccines. Now they got to come out with one every few months. I mean, you don't think there's nothing weird about that? It's like these people don't want to pay attention to anything. They just, and I understand, like, have a life, but at the same time, like, we are just being too blind to this shit. But yet we're doing everything that these niggas say without actually questioning this shit. These niggas talking about, oh yeah, free donuts for this. Back where I was, Krispy Kreme was giving out free donuts. I'm just like, this shit is a joke, bro. Like this shit is a joke. And now you want to keep poisoning people and keep giving people, it's just stupid.
It's mockery.
More shit that's gonna fuck up people's bodies, fuck up people's immune systems.
Yep, total mockery.
The fuck, like niggas, like I don't, come on, bro. Like all the people in my family that got type 2 diabetes. I know, everybody. Like I said, my grandma didn't die from no fucking COVID. She caught COVID, survived that shit. She died from type 2 diabetes. She died from complications of type 2 diabetes. And you don't give a fuck about that shit though. Yeah, it's just retarded. That's why I just get tired of, like, I do hold my tongue around people because, like, I already know it's like you can judge somebody and figure out if they're actually going to care about what you're going to say or not, and you'll be able to see with most people, they ain't even going to give a fuck. It's not even no point in opening my mouth because I can already tell just how you act, you're not going to care. It's like, it's just, how many people know something, and then people know something's wrong. They still they still just want to keep doing the same shit. But like, it's just, and people just, again, like, same shit I said about 9/11 pandemic, especially through my age. Oh yeah, I don't think, they just have these normie ass takes like, why would the government attack us? I'm like, you don't think that is weird that a third building fell down the same way the Twin Towers fell down, but that building wasn't hit by a plane? The Twin Towers were the only buildings that were hit by a plane, but the building 7 fell down the exact same way that Twin Towers fell down? Like, you don't think it's weird that all this shit was like a controlled demolition? If you look up a video of a controlled demolition, that's what the fuck the shit looked like when it fell down. But no, bro, they couldn't have did that. They couldn't have did that. Well, there's nothing going on with numbers. Buildings 1 and 2 fell, and somehow the fire that brought building 7 down just skipped all the other numbers. The shit makes no fucking sense. They're literally playing with us. Like, it's like they're just playing with us, bro. Like, and people just, and it's like they try to like ostracize, like, yeah, bro, that shit is so fucking stupid. It's like it's so much social pressure on it. And it's just, I'm just tired of it. Like, it's so much social pressure to be fucking normal and not look like a crazy person. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of crazy, nonsensical conspiracy theories. But again, that's what they always try to do to us. They always try to equate anybody that thinks 9/11 was planned with the people who make outlandish claims like 9/11 was fake and shit like that. And it's like, well, obviously it's not fake. But we get conflated with those people. And that's another part that the media works with, trying to, and then every time they show Gematria, they show somebody using it in a dumbass way. They show some QAnon shit. So now they're already trying to do that to make anybody that questions the government or questions the mainstream, they do that to conflate anybody with those people. And a lot of that shit be from them just so they can make us look dumb or make people already be turned off from us.
Indeed.
That's all I got to say, bro.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Jay. It was a great conversation, and the chat liked it a lot. I'm glad you're doing better.
Yeah.
All right, man. Stay strong.
Like I said, I'm just trying to figure some stuff out first before I make a comeback.
You will. Appreciate you, Jay.
All right. Okay.
Take care.
All right.
We got 424 waiting patiently, and that's the last person on hold on the call board. The call board expired a while ago, so there's no number to call into anymore, but 424, you're on. 424?
About what you said with the Guidestones. What exactly are you going to do when we see you get manhandled like a little bitch? Like a little ass pussy white boy that you are?
So why is that your statement? Why is that your statement?
You have no fight in you. We see you get handled like a bitch. You ain't gonna take nobody out yourself.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why those are your statements. So hey, hold on. Let me ask you a question real quick. Calling in with your racial bullshit. Have you seen anybody else in the last 10 years expose the code of how the media literally racially shames and kills black people? Have you seen anybody else put out that information? I know Bro Sanchez, you might have come up from his channel, back in 2017, he told us, we're not doing that Gematria shit over here. Imagine if his black audience knew about Gematria and the way their community's getting fucked over. Would that be more helpful than the Flat Earth? The Flat Earth psyop?
You're no different.
How am I no different?
You're no different than those people.
How am I no different?
You are a white supremacist at heart.
How am I a white supremacist at heart? How am I a white supremacist at heart?
We seen you get bitched out. What happened in Portland? You got bitched out. You got.
Hold on. Okay, what happened in Portland? So let's go back to what happened in Portland. For people who don't know what happened in Portland, we were out there. Antifa had Pal's book shut down, so we went out to give books to Antifa and talk to Antifa and learned a lesson for the way Antifa operates. A gentleman who came out, and he was rather tall. He was like 6'4". I think that they chose to do it when he came because he stood out so much, but he came out to get his book signed, and I was signing his book. And by the way, to set the scene, there's like a pack of... Hold on, there's like a pack of 20 Antifa people and a little group of Black Lives Matter protesters. And I was having some fun with the Black Lives Matters protesters. We were going back and forth and making some jokes before things got ugly. But what happened is when the taller gentleman came out to get his book signed, I was signing his book, and then Antifa started saying that he called one of the black people the N-word, which was not true at all. They were fucking with him and talking shit. And he's like, oh, I didn't come out here for anything. He's like, I just came out here to share information, see if you guys knew about Gematria, what you thought about it. He was being cool with them. But then when they all started chanting that he said the N-word, so they did it as another guy showed up too. There was another Black Lives Matter protester that came out. And I mean, this guy's like 6'4", probably 350 pounds, looks like a defensive end. And then I learned after that he'd been like beating the shit out of people all summer in Portland. But, and again, I mean, just Antifa and Black Lives Matter, they got certain agents in these things that are controlled op. And again, there's a reason they're allowed to antagonize the city. But when they started saying this guy said the N-word, there was another gentleman there from Black Lives Matter who was also a good size. He wasn't quite as big as the other guy. He's probably like 6'2", 250 or something. But they were both teaming up on this guy, and he didn't do anything. All he did was showed up, and he was being cool and just got his book signed. So I stood between these big guys, and I said, whoa. I said, man, he did not say that. I said, you guys are about to attack somebody who didn't do anything. We were trying to break up a scene. There was no way for us to fight the mob. Antifa had like batons and stuff. So anyway, I got between, the massive men who were about to fight him. We weren't trying to fight. But again, I'm 5'10", about 160. This guy is like 6'4", probably weighs at least twice me. So he shoved me real hard. I got back up and stood between him again. But we weren't trying to fight. And I wasn't in fighting mode. I was just like, whoa, you guys are jumping a guy who did nothing. But as this guy's talking about, then what happened? I just got bear sprayed in the face by Antifa. So you're talking shit like first of all, I didn't get beat up. I got bear sprayed in the face. But I also stood up for a stranger who I didn't know, who I just met, just to keep him from getting landslided. And he was able to escape that situation, thankfully, for the time I bought him. So anyway, if you want to come back on Troll and talk your shit, let me know where you're coming from, because you got a false perspective. Troll, are you still there?
The reason why you was on the ground like a little girl.
How was I on the ground like a little girl?
The reason why you was on the ground like a little girl.
Did I get bear sprayed on my feet? I was standing up. I got bear sprayed in the face. Anyway,
you talk about how the guy stone shit is actually a good idea. But what are you going to do when you can't even defend yourself?
What do you mean I can't defend myself? Do you realize this is a low? Do you realize this is a low logic argument? Hold on. Do you know how dumb you sound? We're in the middle of 30 people with batons and weapons, and we're not trying to fight. We're getting jumped. I'm standing up for the guy so he doesn't get totally jumped. I'm putting my body on the line to help protect him. Had I not got bear sprayed in the face, situation would have been different. But again, you're comparing this situation to having to defend myself in Fallout. In Fallout, my initial setup's not going to be surrounded by Antifa members with batons and, a 6'4" defensive end that's just on a rampage path who just came down there to kick people's ass. So, and also, in a Fallout situation, dumb motherfucker, I got a rifle that's a lot better than probably what your whole life's worth, and I'll be smoking sorry-ass motherfuckers like you before you can even see me, to be perfectly honest. So that's my response, and you can fuck off, sorry-ass motherfucker. Talk shit online, bitch. You'll get smoked in the Fallout world. So, yeah, that's my response to that sorry-ass motherfucker. And you guys, see, I think he's one of the trolls that calls a lot. There's a group, it makes me sad that some of my most dedicated trolls that are constantly harassing my phone number are black males, because I'm like, what's wrong with these guys? Why do I have black males constantly calling, trying to talk shit? And that's why in recent years I have mostly shut off my phone line, because it's a bunch of sorry-ass motherfuckers like him when I pick up the phone. And I'm like, why are black males coming after me? I mean, have I not done a nice thing for all black people, exposing the information that I have? I don't know if anybody stood up for black people more than I have in the last 10 plus years. But fuck you, sorry-ass motherfucker. You'll get shot in the Fallout day. I'll remember your voice. Stupid-ass motherfucker. So, anyway, fucking retard. But yeah, if you guys don't know what happened, I mean, yeah, and again, I mean, what a pussy would have done is just like ran out of there right away and let the one guy get beat up. Hell no, I was going to stand up for him even though I just met him like 2 minutes earlier. It was a messed up situation, and it was annoying because when I got bear sprayed in the face, I had like Antifa circling me like a pack of sharks talking shit while I couldn't see anything. But yeah, I don't think we handled it like a pussy at all. You know, it was freezing ass cold that day. Bear sprayed in the face. I had to get buckets of water dumped over my head in the freezing cold until I could finally see again, which took about an hour of just taking essentially street showers over the face. And then after I got the shit out of my eyes, I still stayed out on the corner for like another 2.5 hours, chopping it up with the truth seekers. That guy probably would have been crying for his mommy. Where's my mommy and grandma? Pussy. But yeah, again, you guys, also, just, you know, again, just so many unappreciative losers in the world, and you hear voices like that, and again, it's easy to say, like, you know what, I've done enough. I can just retire. I don't need to help out sorry-ass motherfuckers anymore. Let a guy like that perish. Was that the same guy who said he came out to Milwaukee earlier? He probably was like Antifa, Black Lives Matter. Just wait and start a scene. Yeah, the police just kept driving by while Antifa's around me, and they kept just chirping their horn. And I was like, so this is the police they pay for it. This is the police. They just allow somebody to like get bear sprayed in the face, and then just like Antifa circles them for an hour while they can't see, and then the police just keep coming by chirping their horn. It's like, why don't you fucking losers get out of your car and break up this pack of morons that have the bookstore shut down? And you know what's funny, actually, is Antifa did clear out after that, and they opened up the bookstore. So, you know. And let's not forget what else happened about that. Andy No, the guy with the British accent who claims to be from Portland, Oregon, he was sitting there across the street or somebody and recorded the whole thing, and then he used it to market his own book. He said it was a brawl over his book. Total bullshit. And if you guys don't remember who Andy No is, he's somebody who got to go on Fox News, CNN, all these news networks. Should have brought us on. So, anyway. Yeah, for stupid-ass people like that, you better hope that Georgia Guidestone's day don't come around, because you're just dumb as fuck, man. Just your words just show how stupid you are. You're going to get your head sniped off in no time. I'll handle myself just fine in the Fallout world. I got brains. I got equipment. I'll be doing a lot better than you, sorry-ass motherfucker. So, anyway, shout out to Shroom. Appreciate it. Thank you to John Mendoza again. He says, Americans have been truly dumbed down. It's so sad how they've done my country. We've fallen so much, yet majority don't see it or don't want to see it. Yeah, because they're falling with it. They don't even recognize it. They're part of it. They're part of the fall. They don't see themselves. They're not looking in the mirror. They got to listen to that Michael Jackson song. Thank you, Ashley Mermaid. I hope I didn't scare you away in this stream, but I appreciate it. And shout out to Logan Thomas as well. Appreciate that again, Logan. When I do come down to Portland, I'll definitely let you know, man. We were back on YouTube channel 21 when that thing happened in Portland. Probably was. We've lost a lot of channels. So, yeah, that Andy No, I remember he said he was just getting too exhausted in America, so he had to go spend time in England. And I was like, oh, come on, man. This guy, and that's how bad it is, too, that they can put a guy on the news with a British accent and he can tell the world he's from Portland, Oregon. It's like, nobody from Portland sounds like they're from the UK. That's where I grew up. Nobody there sounds like they're from the UK. All right, hold up. Jonathan just texted me. He wants to do a live stream. I said we were going to do a live stream with Jonathan this weekend, so I'm going to end this one, take a little break. I haven't eaten anything yet today. I like to fast every single day. It's almost 3 o'clock out here on the West Coast in the afternoon, so I'm going to eat something real quick. And yeah, we'll leave it there. So I'll be back in a little bit with Jonathan. You guys know Jonathan, or if you don't, you'll get acquainted with Jonathan. He's a longtime member of the community. Thank you again to everyone who hits the like and the share. And until next time.